What's up, everybody? We are live again. Thank you for coming. This is the Drunken Guardian Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, the Drunken Guardian, Danny Martinez, and we do have a full house today. We got Randy the Ragnarok and Boneless Bones here. They stepped away for a second. We do also have the Sober Guardian, Danny. What's up, Danny? And this is episode 74 of the podcast. Don't forget that we are live every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And we are also on YouTube and all audio podcast apps. So check those out if you guys want the links. Just go to thedrunkenguardian.com for all the links. You can also check out game reviews. We do game reviews as well for the Coalition. You can check out that as well on the same website. So today we don't have much going on today, but we are going to do a gaming beatdown, which is when we pit two video game characters against each other, and we kind of debate and see who wins, and it's kind of like a battle royale thing. So in the end, the final two will fight each other, and we'll see how that goes. So last time we ever did this, Kirby ended up winning the whole thing, strange enough. Aside from that, yeah, we'll just talk about a couple of things. Danny, what you been up to? What you been playing?
Much. I've been trying to play a lot of Smash. Trying to get that,
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Smash. Trying to get good at that. It's just very complex from what I'm used to. I'm pretty good at. I'm really good at Tekken.
Of course you
I'm
are.
good at most fighting games, but
Of course you are. Yeah, sure.
but just the ideas, the Smash, it just haven't been able to. It's a little more complex than what the game lets on. Like Tekken is very straightforward. There are combos to learn. You learn to do all press the buttons. You get it. Same thing for even Street Fighter, stuff like that. I mean, there are a few, but I feel like there's so much intricate things that are not spoken within the game that you gotta just figure that out from either playing the past ones or looking up videos, obviously, or whatever. So it's been interesting. Playing play a little Monster Hunter Rise. And the big one, I beat a Metroid Dread. Finally.
Metroid Dread. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that once we make a round on finding out what everybody's been up to. But because I
Gotcha.
know you've been dying to talk about Metroid Dread, and
Yeah.
and now that we're all
Everybody
done,
had the jazz.
yeah.
Everybody finally beat the game and they can give all their full impressions on it.
Oh hell yeah.
Good or bad, mine as well.
So I think we got Snake from G.I. Joe with us today.
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes.
Can y'all believe that I walked out the room and I saw this and I was like, let me just throw this in. They won't mind.
For the audio listeners, Kevin's just got this weird ninja ski mask, weird shit
bro,
going on. I don't know what this is.
Character. It's a locked character. That's disrespectful. You got to beat the game on hard mode and then very hard and then ultra. Never want to play the game hard.
Ultra.
Well, what you been up to, Lockable Kevin?
Okay, so I've been playing, obviously, getting my hours up in fighters. Got my rank up, so now I'm a Pride Trooper, and I'm aiming for like the highest rank, which is Zeno. And I was doing Tekken. I did a little bit of Fire Emblem because I wanted to finish that game. I started that game like years ago, and then I just
years.
Yeah, but the game
that's how long
out,
it takes to beat the game.
Yeah, I looked at it. It was like 62 hours. I was like, yeah, we got a lot to learn. And then I've been playing. Believe it or not, I've been playing Dead Ahead, which is like a mobile game, and I've been stuck playing that game for like the last 2 weeks, and it's bad, man. It's bad. It's an addiction. That and Cat and Soup. That game. Is
right.
Really yeah.
Oh, sad Kirby.
Remember, no, that's Disappointed Kirby.
Disappointed Kirby.
It's sad Kirby.
Yeah. It's sad Kirby.
It's sad Kirby.
Oh, I'm gonna send you a post later about
Randy. Randy, what you been up to?
What have I been doing? I've been playing Terraria with a coworker of mine, who, funnily enough, actually, let me give a little fun fact. He reminds me a lot of Drunk Danny, except he's from Texas.
Oh, okay.
He's also very into mezcal, as you are, right? He loves Destiny, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on over here?
So you're fired. Can I get his number?
Matt's skin is perfect. He's just perfectly replace you.
So
But we could have him like
I
be the
just,
host for one episode,
I
and no
just,
one will tell him different.
I was just gonna say I could just use 3 of them. Just get 3 of them, and just all of you
wait,
guys gone.
can I ask a question? So
That's it.
we'll have the sober guardian, right? The drunk guardian, and then because everything's bigger in Texas,
The
it could
copy
be
guardian and the mirror
big,
guardian.
the mirror guardian.
the
Can I just have big
dark guardian.
Oh yeah, I was gonna pull a Scott Pilgrim and
Yeah,
be like
Nega
Scott, but
Scott.
let me not get canceled.
It's okay.
Why would I
It's
cancel
okay.
you? I'm confused.
I don't know.
Think about it for a second.
It's nega, as in negative.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. There we go.
That's stupid.
But people are also very dense.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
True.
So yeah, I've been playing Terraria
Okay.
with him,
Mhm.
and I've been playing Borderlands 2 with Letty. I got it for her, and she's playing as Gage. She forgets to use her super all the time, but she's picking up on it slowly.
PC?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. No, her PC's a pretty nice fucking gaming PC.
Mm.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, he's calling you out.
I mean, no, of course. Fucking I told her
she's in chat.
Yeah, no, I saw.
Yeah, okay.
She has to figure out when to use it, when not to use it, because it's like if I tell her use it more, she's gonna use it all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if I say use it, and I even explained to her, use it during like big maps, but not during like kind of small empty shit,
Mm.
because then you get like the most out of it. Because we're at the part where actually the 3 of us have left off, like the car part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember.
And yeah, we just got into there last time that we played, and I told her like when we get out the car, if we're not in the volleyball pit, don't use it. But if we are, then go ahead because there's only like 1 quest or like 2 quests that are part of that. But when it comes to like fighting the cars, there's no real fucking need to summon Death Trap.
Mm.
But yeah, she's getting a hang of the numbers bit by bit. It's
Is
it's
anybody
definitely a learning thing.
Is anybody drinking anything?
I am.
I am.
I was.
Say water. Say water.
No.
Ice water.
Decaf coffee
Oh.
Hey,
jeez.
with,
stepping it
with,
up.
with Bailey's. I have Bailey's in it though.
Oh, you do? Okay,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
something.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
something. He's making progress. He's learning.
We're turning him into an alcoholic. No, we're not doing that.
No, we don't condone alcoholism. We
Yeah.
understand it, but we don't agree with it.
Exactly. Alcoholism is bad. Hold on.
So, well, speaking of alcoholism, yeah, right.
Exactly.
So I had I love to like learn new flavors and drinks and spirits and shit like that. So if anybody had followed my Twitter, or I think I put it on Instagram, but I posted up pictures of a shit ton of little bottles that I have. So these little bottles are all shochu, and I did a little webinar where we do like taste testing, and we kind of like talk about the flavors and the smell and things like that, and like the history of shochu and the difference between that and sake, yada yada, all that shit. If you're interested in that, but yeah, I still have some extra, so that's what I'm gonna be drinking today. Is a bunch of different shochus, different flavors and shit.
Oh, you about to get fucked up, son.
Yeah, right. Kevin and Randy.
I'll go first because this month's not that crazy. I got coquito.
Ooh.
Light, yeah, so it's gonna look crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's
Kevin's nut in a glass.
Yeah, Kevin's nut in the glass, and then I got.
Let me see that. Let me see that. Let me see that extra creamy shit.
Yeah, that's me right there, baby. That's all me. That's darkness. That's literally just what is it? Blueberry grape juice and New Amsterdam. So I'm gonna get fucked up tonight. Can I tell you, as I'm talking, these are just like fogging up, and I can barely see anything.
I can't tell.
Yeah. I'm blind as shit. I can't see anything. Hold on. That's better.
And then Randy, what you drinking?
Johnny Walker Double Black. I got a bottle for my brother and I.
Nice.
We've yet to actually drink it together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have the idea, but he's been working so much. Like, he works early to late, and I work early to whenever the fuck it is. Yesterday was terrible. Yesterday was so fucking slow. But with his exhaustion too, it's like you have a drink, you get exhausted. You know?
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, seeing how I used to work like only night shifts and shit like that, I was used to like sleeping during the morning, waking up at night, and then working, and then being able to stay up until like damn near dawn.
Mm.
But now that I have to be up by like 8 or so, um, drinking definitely takes a toll on me now. It makes me fucking exhausted as shit.
It's only gonna get worse with age.
Oh no, I bet. But I mean, I personally think it's for the best because I was drinking like a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
Wait
It's
until
good.
we get into the alcoholism part of Health Potion.
Yeah, right. Hey,
I have a lot to speak about.
at some point we will.
Raiden, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead,
But what's up, Kev?
Did you used to stay up until dawn?
Good night, everybody.
All right, guys. I'll see you later.
Oh God.
All right. So Danny had beat Metroid Dread finally, so we could finally talk about it and shit. Were you confused with any of it at all? Did you like the that final boss was fucking hard? What'd you think?
No, I didn't find the final boss to be any harder than the rest of the bosses. He just had a lot of phases you had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of all my gripe is with the final boss and everything. First and foremost, I think the game is one of the best games I've played, game wise.
You mean Metroid or
I love
just game in general? Like the best
Metroid,
Metroid game.
best Metroid.
Yeah.
It's just a great game. It's fun to play. It reminds you of why you like Metroid. You know, the thing that confused me. There's a few different things. The fuck is this team doing? The team died. Okay, the thing that confused the hell out of me was what this target audience was for. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because the game to me was too easy to be a fan favorite. You know, we're obviously the fan favorite would be that to say we're the target audience that they're trying to get. I truly believe the game is too short and too
Too short.
easy. 8 hours. Game is 8 hours. I mean, honestly, and a lot of them in the past have been, at least felt like a whole lot longer and a whole lot harder as well. And this one felt, and maybe it's because we're better at games or whatever it is, but it felt much easier. And yeah, you can go back and like Kevin, who almost never 100% games, fucking was able to 100% this game within a few days. You know.
Well, man, I gotta disagree with you on that. Like it wasn't hard like to the point where it was infuriating. Like I wouldn't call it like a Dark Souls ish
No,
type game or anything like that. Compared to the other Metroid games, it was hard. I thought it was hard, especially with dealing with the enemies. They got progressively harder, and the bosses, once you picked up their pattern, yes, they got easy, but the patterns, like, and the damage that they dealt to was actually really, really, really hard to deal with and adjust to. But
I
I don't think it was an easy game at all.
I beat the game on lunch breaks, like with no real effort at all, and I felt like it was just going through the motions. You're on lock something, you get like you were constantly running really fast. I felt like you really kind of had no time to really get lost in the game. It almost felt almost linear, you know, which to me,
What game were you playing? Do you have any
this
idea
is
how many people complain in message boards how the maps were actually too big and too convoluted?
I did not have that problem, not in the least bit.
There were so many people
Again, it
talking
was.
about how much of a challenge this game was compared to
I
other
think the game
Metroids.
I think it could have been more of a challenge if it wasn't. Once you got to the notion in your head is, I'm not supposed to be here. The game is not letting me be here yet. It'll let me be there when you go to be there.
That's always obvious in any Metroid game, but the problem was that when you find a place that you weren't supposed to be, the question is now where the fuck am I supposed to go? Because the map is so big, now you have to find these little intricate places that are like that you haven't explored or you don't know that you can open yet, or now you have to find an item. Now where the fuck is the item at? And it leaves you open to explore the place. So like you're trying to find this fucking like there's at least two times in the game in my experience where I was just like I can't find this fucking item. Where the fuck is it so I can progress further?
See, I played the game again on my lunch breaks, and I never got that, and I wanted that. I wanted that. Oh fuck! I'm gonna have to look this up to find out. where this out, or I'm gonna have to really look. And I never got that. To me, I ran through it really
Oh my
fast,
god.
just going one thing after another. Okay, I remember this. This is the stupid blue box. Okay, I got it. This is, and it wasn't to me that much. I mean, yes, there was backtracking, but it doesn't
Mhm.
feel like I had to go really far out of the way to do backtracking. And to me, a lot of that was just a little bit disappointing for me. But again, and again, that's fine because again, it's what Metroid is.
Mhm.
It's expected. It's what Metroid is. Um, the one of the problems I have is with the story. Like again, that's why I say I'm confused on what the target audience should be
Probably just
because
the hardcore Metroid fans. That's pretty much it. And that's why
yeah,
Metroid games
but
don't
but
do
I
well, like sales wise, because it's usually
no.
just for the hardcore.
So I did my research before playing the game, so I knew the story, I knew the lore, I knew everything, and I basically beaten almost all of them except for the really bad other AMP game. But
No, that one's
tur-
great. That one's great. And Kevin's actually gonna stream. He's gonna stream it too.
but it turns out that the lore of other AMP is actually like really it takes a lot off of that, because I think that's where you get Alex from, his little fucking butt buddies. Sergeant person that she, like, there's no like love interest because I'm glad they don't do that for her because
Hmm.
that'd be weird.
And
But it's
another
for her
M they
friend.
do.
It was a love interest, right? Because I wasn't sure if it was a
The less about
like
other M, the better.
but no, but it's still like she dies. Spoilers, we were fucking beat Orla M, and it becomes the
Kevin,
robot.
we can't hear you with that mask on.
No, it becomes the it becomes the robot. So again, it's a good touch, I think,
Hmm.
right? And that they did, and the rest of the games that they're going for it was very nice, and they added that in it. But like, if you're not a huge fan of the game, you have no fucking idea what any of this stuff is, what
Oh
or
yeah.
what they're really supposed to mean. Even the fact that the very end where it comes out of nowhere, it's like, Luke, I'm your father, and it's like, bitch, I don't know who you are. Like, why is that supposed to mean anything to me? So
Yeah.
I really, and then I feel like a lot of it was rushed to push storyline. But the biggest thing, if you think about this really bad, if you take this game away, she never comes here, the exact same shit happens. There's nothing really came from this
Yeah, yeah,
besides
yeah.
the fact that she might have learned that her heart was a piece of her was from this
She was
dude.
from Chozo.
That's it.
Yeah. Or
She's
she's
but
part Chozo.
but she was already raised by Chozos,
Hmm.
so it's like she's already feel like if you're raised by a bunch of Puerto Ricans, and you feel Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
So she already thought she was Puerto Rican, so it's kind of the same shit. She's in the same place, which
So
is
now we know that Samus is actually Puerto Rican.
I'm just saying.
Ah.
By proxy, she's Puerto Rican.
But if you
So
again, if you take, but if you, there's nothing that came out of this. There's no new bad guys that came out of this. There's no new threat that came from this, which
well,
I
see,
think is
that's not true either because aside from the Emmys, because obviously Emmys are new, but like you never really saw, interacted, or spoken to any Chozos, let alone fight them. So that was a big deal for the
they said
story
that the
as well.
they said the planet fucking blows up, so
Yeah, we
there's
thought they
no.
were extinct.
How you gonna do it?
But again, but Chozo's already been part of the storyline to begin with.
But we never
You know what I mean?
interacted with them. That's what I'm saying. Is that they
And
were never they were always in the background of the story. They were always like
yeah,
the elders of like whatever lore that people know about with Metroid. But now they're alive. They're well. They're dangerous. Like they're a part of the actual story
if
now.
he would have lived, if he would have lived, then it would have been like, oh, we have a threat. Or if another Chozo would have showed up at the end, be like, yeah, okay, this is a story. But again, you can literally take this, wipe it from existence from your mind, and still get the same story. If you give another story where Chozos come and attack you or whatever it is, or you go to their planet, whatever, it's just going to be another introduction because of the fact that they don't actually really they kill off the main they kill off the main any kind of threat, they kill off everybody at this planet, and again there is no big bad to this world because they keep on killing the fucking
Well,
Metroids, and then they kill off the parasites and be like, these are the last ones,
well,
type of thing.
let me say one more thing before we go to Kevin because I know Kevin has played more than us because he's 100% everything. But uh when you say that they're killing off everything, I agree with you. They're cutting a lot of ties. They're burning a lot of bridges because they're killing off everything. They've already got rid of the Parasite X. They got rid of the Metroids. They got rid of the Chozo now, supposedly, all that stuff. And they always end up coming back in some stupid way, and they can make up whatever the fuck they want. It's a space, it's a space fantasy game. But the thing is that they also want to continue the story. The timeline has been so convoluted and jumping around so much stuff. A lot of people have lost their place on like you asked me today, like, wasn't Ridley dead? Like, what happened with Ridley? And like, so Ridley had, he had died, and then he came back as as metal Ridley, and then this and that, and then so like them killing off all
Like
this
Frieza?
stuff, huh?
Like Frieza?
Like Frieza. But the thing is like
Yo,
they keep
man.
on killing these things off, and I honestly don't mind, because what that allows them to do is finally stray away from all of that stuff and start new and fresh into a new storyline, whether it be ignoring Chozo and Metroid and Parasite X and all this stuff. Like, they can start new now since they killed everything off. That's
But
my opinion on that.
but I think if I agree, you should. I think they should have started new that way by leaving the chosen, believing that at least one chosen or
Mhm.
somebody like that last guy at the very end who saves you. You know,
Mhm.
it turns out to be a parasite or whatever it was, an actual. Regardless, is gone, right? The one who saves you at the end, and they should have left that one because it would have been like, okay, this is what came from this game.
Yeah.
This is what we remember from this game. This is because of this game, because of this, these events happen. This is how the future's impacted. The future's not impacted at all whatsoever
No.
right now,
Yeah.
which I find to be really disappointing as a game as a fan of the series, right? And if you're not a fan, you have no fucking clue what any of this means. You're like, okay, then these
Well,
random parasite
alright.
things, like it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't really do that great of a job explaining what the fuck's actually going on,
Yeah.
or who's what. Why some of these things mean so much. And I get that you can't really do that. So I'd rather it just focus towards the fans and not focus towards trying to explain all that shit. But I still think they should have left something from it.
So Kevin, what do you agree with? What do you disagree with? What's your say on the game?
Okay, so for me, the only thing I can say that I do disagree with is the getting lost thing. I like, even like it, you might be different. You know what I mean? Like, I've played the game and I got lost for like 4 or 5 hours max, like in like the entire playthrough, and I beat the game in 17 hours, and I was like 100%ing and everything. And the
Yeah,
reason,
my playtime was 7 hours and 23 minutes.
yeah, you see, you speed run this shit.
Yeah, because I didn't speed run. I mean, I just went to them.
I
What's
think he
next?
just got
Next,
lucky. He
next.
found everything.
Yeah, you just by chance walk through where you needed to go and then
I mean,
walk out
the
when you
game
didn't need to go
tells
there.
the game tells you. It's like
And
it's
it
it
does tell you.
shows you. It goes, look, these guys up. This place is blocked. You got a new power that matches this color. Okay,
Yeah,
go to that color.
but my thing is, first of all, you really think I sat there and read the story? Be
No, I didn't.
honest.
No one did.
No, because the thing to me is like, once I started reading the story, and like the thing that blew my mind, and it still blows my mind now, is like the body amnesia shit. I don't even know what the fuck that means. Like there's like, oh yeah, your
Yeah.
body has amnesia. I was like, bro, doesn't
Mhm.
that mean she's like paralyzed or something? What's going on here? Like, but other than that, like, the game was fun. It was
I
enjoyable.
think.
But I do agree that the story is like me even trying to understand it was just like confusing, like, to the sense that it didn't need to be that confusing. It could have just been straightforward, and then they could have killed everything off and then started fresh. I would have been fine with that, because again, this is my first Metroid game. I've never played any other Metroid before this. And an M, Metroid M,
Metroid
that
M.
shit.
The REM?
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah. Other M, I'm gonna play that shit. And like, for me, the story didn't make sense. It was like trying to make sense of, and Randy, you could quote me on this, trying to make sense of every Kingdom Hearts game and make it make sense to
But
somebody that never played Kingdom Hearts.
It does make sense.
Don't lie to me.
but
It does make sense.
Does it?
but if people shit
We can get
on
to that later.
people shit on other M, but most of the story, like after I did the deep dive on it, most of
Mhm.
the actual story that ties everything together and puts everything together actually comes from other M. Other
Okay,
M
look,
did again, people hate these
That was
gameplay
just
looks
not
really
done
bad.
well. It's just not
Yes,
done well.
exactly. It was just wasn't
See,
done well, and then they had some
Mhm.
character development that was really poor with Samus. So that's why people were upset. But everything around it, the way they reintroduced the little fucking Metroid they saved you in part one, you know, having that grow, all that BS stuff that ended up happening, having it combine with you to save your life, and you become part of, you know, it.
Mhm.
The kid defeat the parasite with all that bullshit that happened to you.
Mhm.
All that's kind of interesting, you know, from that
Right.
story. It
okay.
gave the Metro story some depth, but the game was just shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not gonna say that it's like, oh, fucking Other M useless. No, it's definitely fucking dumb. But the main issue is that it was a game that was story rich, but played fucking poorly. You
Yeah.
don't play the story, you play the game,
Mm.
right?
So, so what I could say is, I know what point you're gonna go to. That it was the opposite for Dread. Dread's story was dumb,
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
but
I agree.
the game was amazing. And I was like,
That's
I
and
like,
that's I 100% agree, and that's my point. Is that I feel like they missed the mark on that. I feel like they need to take the writers from fucking Metroid Other M, and I take these gameplay developers, smash them together, and you have a great fucking game.
Yeah,
Because
no, and that for sure. Because then it falls into fuck, I had a comparison in my head and I immediately forgot it.
but
Um Damn, I
like
hate how that
one of
happens
the bad
sometimes.
guys that you fight is like straight from the first game. That big fucking guy who's tied up in a lava thing. Like
mm-hmm,
Oh,
they
yeah,
had,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and if you read like the
Crag,
whatever, yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
something like that.
reincarnation of Crag. It was the reincarnation of Crag. It's like two things. Why the fuck is the reincarnation Crag in some random planet? Right, that has nothing to do with anything.
why is it
Because
relevant?
again, uh, Samus's dad has no actual motive on what he's doing there, really. I mean, they have a little bit about him being over taking the fucking Chozos and getting drunk with power and all that BS shit that happened, but
Mhm.
why did they have Craig? And why they have it was just a fun callback? Yes, it was fun. I liked seeing it, but they could have threw more depth into the story, you know?
Hmm.
Like honestly, like I know they make fun of Ridley, but Ridley needs to be a main bad guy. Right? Ridley has always been the main bad guy. He's been that annoying fucking person who comes in no matter what at the end to bother you, to fuck you up, to always has always been in almost every game. And
Mhm.
the next one, I think he should continue that. You
Hmm.
know?
So have like a nemesis or somebody that's like,
Yeah.
yeah. Because for me,
Like
the only thing that I got kind of upset about, because I was so used to like Resident Evil like 2 and everything, like, having an enemy that's like an unstoppable force, and then you build your way to become like, the thing that actually stop it. I always got used to that. So me playing through the game, I always felt like, yeah, the Emmys are cool, but they can only stay in this area. Like it only felt like a threat till you leave the area, and then you're just like, stupid,
the
you can't leave.
the Emmys, I love the concept of the Emmys. I think it's really good, and they give that Nemesis type feel almost.
But
But once you realize you're gonna die from it, it's just figuring out how to fucking get around it real quick. You
mhm,
know, like
Well,
okay,
just
what's
just
this?
like any other game.
yep,
But it was really less so. Like I really did not care if an enemy was there. Like okay, whatever, I don't care. I get it. I'm supposed to run past you really fast.
mhm.
There wasn't like I have to figure out how to really defeat you right now, or I have to come back to really defeat you. You knew, okay, I'm in the room with an enemy. Okay, there's gonna be a fucking little robot guy coming up pretty
That
soon.
is one thing that I didn't like about the game is that I love the Emmy stuff, but the fact that they were contained into one specific area
Yeah,
that you already knew about, yeah, I was just like, okay, this is the area. Let me run past real quick. I would have liked it
yeah.
more if
Like you
the
don't even
Emmys were
have
throughout
to.
the whole map.
Yeah, you don't really have to explore. Like if they popped up every now and then out of nowhere,
Right.
you fucking really had to
Yeah.
run and get away. And then doing that really fucked up your game because now you're like, oh fuck, where was I? God damn,
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back there now.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
that would have been much more interesting.
What's my favorite one? The red one.
Which was
I
that?
don't know.
He's the one that
They
dies in the
all blend
cutscene.
together. Oh yeah.
Oh,
He just
Going
gets
against a Zord.
exploded. Yeah, it just gets
And then
exploded.
again, it like comes out of nowhere. Look, she has a super Kamehameha power. She can fucking absorb everybody. What the fuck? Like I don't.
Yep.
yeah.
Like,
Yep.
okay, that's random. and that should technically break the game as well. Yes, there's a part where he's being choked. I'm like, just grab his hand and absorb
Oh, kinky.
him.
Mhm.
Like it was just like,
All right. Let's finish up with the final thoughts. What we're gonna say about it.
no, I was just again, I can see why people did not give this any kind of recognition for Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody talked about how great the game was, and it is a great game. But it's a great game. The gameplay is great. The
Yeah.
gameplay is fun. It makes me wish there was more. Like I
Yeah.
wish the game was longer, but the story was not there at all. It's the opposite effect of Death Stranding.
All story,
Great
no
story.
gameplay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that game
It's
is
really just
amazing.
another good fucking 2D Metroid, but it doesn't have any new fucking ideas.
no.
Because even with the
Yeah.
Emmy battles, like it's still the same shit, just a different color.
It was
Yeah,
just something
and
new. It's something new and
Yeah.
scary. Like we hadn't seen it before. It hadn't been done in a Metroid game specifically. So everyone's
No,
like,
yeah, no,
"Oh
of
yeah."
course. But the thing is that it's
Yeah.
like you see the first Emmy, you're terrified. You see the
yeah.
second Emmy, you're equally as terrified, and you think you can handle it.
Well, the
But
second one's
when
more so because the second one is the first one is only like half active. It's just to
Mhm.
show you. The second one is like fully active and it kills you a
Yeah.
bunch of times.
The first Emmy was like tutorial mode.
Yeah, exactly. So the
it's just
second
the
one's the
whole
one that
thing of it.
really
It's
gets you.
like it's repetitive of what Emmy is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the main issue. Like Emmy's great, but Emmy also doesn't change between
No.
many Emmys.
Yeah.
If Emmy fucking took the form of like almost the bosses or something, and the Emmys were here, and they changed shaped, and they actually did completely different things besides fucking see through walls. I think it was the last one. I'm like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
that's super
Bro,
corny.
Bro, the
Yeah.
one that can see through walls was so fucking whack because you can't even move fast. I'm like, you can hear me from down there, but you're looking at me. I'm like, the entire map. You're telling me the entire map. You can see me. The entire.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in the next room in your area. The entire
Okay.
map.
All
Can't.
right. All right. So we're gonna go to our first article right now. The only article we have right now. It's not really an article. It's more of a tweet that somebody posted. Dying Light 2 is going to be coming out on February 4th of this year, and everyone has apparently had something to say about its game's length. So Techland, the developers of Dying Light, their Twitter profile, they posted that the game would take 20 hours to complete, 80 hours to finish all the side missions along with the main story, and 500 hours to 100% the game, find all the dialogue options, map areas, discovered pretty much every little thing about the game. 500 hours. So many think that 500 hours is overkill for a game, and some feel that they're getting their money's worth with 500 hours. So my question to you guys is, do we really need a 500-hour game? Is this something we should get more of? Randy.
Yay! Okay, cool. I was hoping you were gonna pick on me. Okay, so you're not exactly getting a 500-hour game because it's not a 500-hour requirement.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just there for the story, as they broke down, it's 20 hours for the story. If you want to do side quests and whatever the case, which is what most people tend to do, where it's not all the side quests, but the majority of them, it's going to be 80 hours at max. Meaning that you could even fucking finish everything within 40, 60, or even fucking 30 hours. And that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
The 500 hours are not mandatory. So it's not like it's a 500-hour required playtime to do it. That's only if you want to do every single fucking thing. Is that okay? I think that it's personally fucking okay because what is it? It's not a sense of replayability, but kind of like you could keep on milking the game for everything that you can do it. So the more that you play it, the more things you find out, and it keeps it unique at least,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You're not required to fucking do that, but the option is there,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I like
So
about it. The fact that me, I would never spend 500 hours on a game, but the fact that it's optional,
yeah, you
I
would.
would definitely,
No, yeah, you would.
yeah, we're thinking of one game, right?
What's the game? What's that game?
Halo? Oh
No,
shit.
no.
Danny
No, it's
Danny left.
Right.
He's like, fuck Destiny.
That's it. Oh, there it is. He said it.
Ooh.
Hold on, I'm pouring my shot now.
Yeah, go ahead. I got you. Right
All right. So,
but
in
anyways,
your
as I
case, the
was
same.
as I
I'm gonna
was
say
saying
mine.
though, 20 hours is good enough for a game that I'm not interested in putting 500 hours in.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's optional, and I don't understand why people were getting upset over something like that. Yes, you're
I
absolutely
logged
right
out,
about
but
that.
you guys mentioned
Hi, welcome
Destiny.
back.
Yeah, I'm about to take my shot now.
Okay. Okay, I figured. I was just gonna say that. I'm like, bitch, you put more than 500 hours Destiny, so I got
It's
off. So
definitely
that's
over 1,000, 100% sure.
oh, I'm sure you know you can check the log. Well, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
probably combined with the PlayStation 5 it changed, but
yeah. But yeah, it doesn't make sense that you would make a big deal of it as long as it's an option. If it's an option for you to 100% a game and take that long for you to do it, you're getting your money's worth. But for me, I would buy the game, get the storyline quick, have fun with it as much as I can, and move on to the next game because that's usually what I do anyways. So like, what's the big deal? Anybody else, Kevin or Danny?
I think
Uh,
it's Kevin first. 'Cause I
no,
talked a
no, no.
lot.
Go ahead, because
No,
I
you first.
actually I enjoy the game. Go ahead. It's actually one of my favorite games.
I never played them, so I'm not sure, but like I think it's a great. I kind of
With the
agree with.
general idea of it, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I mean, the concept behind it is if you wanted to, there's lots of games out there. Like, I mean, we're gonna beat a dead horse, but if Cyberpunk 2027 fucking actually worked the way it's supposed to, it would have been like that
Yeah,
as well. You
yeah.
know, like there are games like that, to GTA, whatever it is, that you can actually go back
Elder
and
Scrolls is like that. Elder Scrolls has
yeah,
this thing where there's an infinite number of side quests now, so you can play the game indefinitely if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Skyrim for sure is definitely a great example. Like, when I played Skyrim, I actually did a shit ton of side quests and a lot of different, just like kind of quick leveling things. So when I did the story, um, in all honesty, I was very disappointed with how short it was because I only did a couple quests, then did a lot of side quests. Then when I did the main quest, it only took like at least 4 fucking hours within one
Hmm.
sitting.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, so that's the entire game? But it's also it leaves you open to do what it is, like whatever the fuck that you want.
Hmm.
Mhm.
like
So
I kind
Dying
of
Light, what?
I do
Go ahead.
wish that more games would do this, something like it. Like, you know, there's some of our favorite games that we play right now. Metroid, good example. Like, I wish there was more to actually go back. I wish I can go back into that game and do more that wasn't something as repetitive as like just go back to get a super little item. And again, it might be just stupid. Like, get a note, get a this, get whatever. But if that much hours, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of stuff for everybody to feel obligated to want to do.
Now,
And
I'm sorry. Did we hear from Kevin?
Oh,
Not yet.
I was letting you guys get your thoughts out.
But you can still go.
Oh, okay. Um, Honestly, I don't think 500 hours is a bad thing. I think that's pretty normal for. Well, and it's not even a requirement. That's just to complete a game. Like you can, like earlier we were talking about Dread, and I 100% the game in 17 hours. It's not a requirement. It's all if you want to pay attention to the story and see like everything that happens. That's 500 hours. If you want to even spend the time, you could actually do it in probably like maybe like 100, maybe like 40, 50 hours max if you actually just like speed ran through it and like try to 100% it. There's always ways to like do it. Like
Hmm.
it's not like you have to play 500 hours to understand why the zombies or the infected are actually just people with like a disease or something. No, we you
No, I see. The thing is that it's like the 500 hours. It's not like 500 hours in one playthrough,
yeah
because it's also a lot of dialogue options and endings, as they mentioned in the tweet itself.
Right.
yeah,
So it's
but
going to
that
be not just one playthrough, but multiple playthroughs that give
and-
variety.
but is that are you obliged to do that? Do you have to do it? Is the
No,
question.
no, no. Of course not. Of course
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Because
That's what I'm
as it
saying. Like
as it said, like the 20 hours to beat the story. That's what the main thing is. 20 hours to
mhm,
beat the story. You get the content that they're selling you for, and that's it. That's if you just want to get like the meat and potatoes. The
yeah.
500 hours, it's if you want everything, everything.
If you want the fixins and everything, which is
Yeah,
always it's for people that want to do it. Like Dan's like Drunk said earlier. Like if I just want to play the game and beat it, I can just play the game and beat it. If Randy just wants to get like all the side quests done, he could do all the side quests. If I
yeah,
want to
for
understand
80.
the story more and I could do the 500 hours, that's it's for everyone. It's not that everyone has to do 500 whatever amount of hours. It's that's for if you want to do that, you can. It's an option.
The
So
whole
You
point
can
is you're
do it.
not fucking forced to do it.
Yeah,
so
you're not bro.
well, so here's a question. I want to play devil's advocate about this, but another argument people can make is that if these developers specifically, they're spending so much time on a 500-hour game,
Mm-hmm.
could they cut this game like with less hours? They could make this easily just simply a 20 to 50-hour game and then move on to something else. So that way it doesn't, number one, ruin the quality of this game, and number two, they have more time, resources, money, and example of working on the next game or DLC or patches or whatever it may be. So like, is this still something that should be optional? That you have the option to play a 500-hour game, but how does this affect you guys as players with when it comes to the quality of the games or like future games in general? Because it'll slow down development process of like the next game they might want to make or something. You know what I mean?
But it does
Danny.
improve the quality. I mean, the quality itself, part of it is the fact that they took so much
of
time
of
to
the
add
game that
all
you
this
have
extra
now.
stuff.
Yes, you're right. But I'm talking
Yeah.
about for the future. I'm talking about for anything else.
And again, these game developers aren't the same. Even if you're working with, Eidos Entertainment, the
Mhm.
people working on one game is not the same people that are working on another game, even though they're the same developing company. You know what I mean? They have a team that work on a game. They have a series of teams usually, so it
Mhm.
doesn't really affect it that much. Usually, this team will go on to make the sequel and stuff like that. Or another game late if they don't plan on doing any sequels, then another game like it or whatever. But then they have the bones restructure, or they might disband and do something else. But that was a team, so it does not really affect anything else. And seeing all that passion obviously be put into this one game is a great thing. Like all games should do that. I mean, they should have some type of, we want you to play this game for a long time. Here's why.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So should that
I
be
think.
so should that be for every game or for most games?
I
They
think.
should be this long.
I don't think I think have opportunity to want to be that long should be the norm. I feel, but I mean, it's not gonna be obviously. It's impossible for that to happen. It's like saying I want every game to be perfect. It's just not gonna happen. Um, but I feel like the more games that do it, the more you'll see that trend grow, which will be great for us because if we really love the game, like I'll take my shot. I don't go fuck. But if the next Final Fantasy game comes out, I want to explore fucking Midgard as much, the new towns,
Well,
everything.
say that's
If
an
I have the
RPG though.
opportunity,
RPGs are expected to be lengthy.
But is
No,
yes,
but
but
also no,
the
hold on,
last
wait,
Final
wait,
Fantasy
wait, wait,
wasn't.
no.
go ahead.
Before
I
anyone
was
continues
like,
anything, I want to say this. Okay, so now you want to do the argument of okay, RPGs are expected to be lengthy, this, and that, whatever the case. Dying Light is to an RPG, right?
Yes.
Most
It
Okay.
is.
it is part RPG.
Yes,
Yes.
It
it
is.
most definitely is. But what's the same fucking difference between like Destiny, that's an MMO that comes out with expansions and shit that
plus an
has over
RPG
500 hours of content?
Hmm.
because it's an
They're doing
RPG as
that,
well.
parsing it out periodically, whereas this game is doing it from point A to point B in development. It's no different because what they could do is that they could have done a base release of Dying Light 2, and then within like portions of time, they could have been releasing more and more content. What
Hmm.
they want to do is that they want to release everything all at once, knowing that it works, instead of, oh, there's a
Yeah.
patch coming out, there's a DLC coming out that improves this.
You,
It's the same fucking thing, just a different asshole.
it's funny. This is when you give people what they want and they still bitch about it because
Yeah.
No, of course.
you're giving them a complete game and they want to be like, oh, but I don't want to spend 20 hours playing the game. I'm like, motherfucker, you play 2K for 18 hours, like you're
A day.
a day, and you have 18 plus hours on a game. Like it shouldn't be a problem if a game requires you to beat it in a short amount of time. It's like that's just a game, but you can play the same game repeatedly and not see nothing wrong with it for hours and complain that a game has required, if you want to get the full story, more hours. Like that's all it is. It's like a shift. If you
Well,
want to pick up a double, you can. The
any
option is there.
any gamer is gonna find things wrong with games. Period. That's one of
Yeah.
the problems with gaming in general. Is
Anyone's gonna find anything wrong with anything.
right.
Period.
Yep.
And I don't find anything wrong with it. I agree with every single one of you guys how it's going. I'm only
Now,
asking these
the
questions
biggest thing,
because I
if it
know
was
those people are asking those
mandatory,
questions.
Oh my god!
If the game was
That's different.
mandatory, like you have to beat it's gonna take you 500 hours to beat this game.
Mhm.
Fuck, if it's gonna tell you it's gonna be over 100 hours to beat this game, you're gonna be like, I don't know, that's kind of a it's beating a dead horse. It's like when a movie's
Yep.
too long, like you could have cut out half an hour of that fucking movie, easy, you know.
How
And
I want to I want to ask you guys a question. Mainly sober and drunk. My fault. Hold on. How long does it take for you guys to beat Final Fantasy? The entire story and everything.
Which
How
one?
long minimum?
which one?
No, I'm talking about 14. The entire story.
Oh, I don't have a clue.
Well, when I played so Danny was obviously he was already
Oh,
done,
MMO,
said
but
and done with this stuff. Well, hold on, like so story mode. We're talking about just story mode. Like that's what
Just the
he's
story.
asking.
Just
When
literally
I
complete the entire
when I
story.
got story mode and Danny was helping me out, it took me about 3 months to get through all the DLC, not just the base story. To get through all the DLC, it took me about 3 months. And
Okay.
I couldn't tell you how many hours I played because it was very, very sporadic and random. I would probably say maybe roughly 2 hours a day or every other day.
Mhm.
So it's about
So
120 hours.
120 hours. Yeah, 170 hours to be
90 hours.
100 no, actually, if you run through
Oh,
it,
that's an hour. Yeah, it says 180. Yeah,
yeah.
2 hours a day. And so
Yeah.
you played 3 months straight on average. Then yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to complete the game and all the extra is 170 hours. Now
Hmm.
think of that, just you playing the same game for 170 hours, right? Enjoying the game because you enjoy it. You don't mind.
Hmm.
But somebody would play that, hate the game, but still play the game that they hate.
Well, that's the thing with Destiny players. Actually, Destiny is very well known to have extremely toxic fans. A lot of
Everywhere.
very demanding fans that complain about every little bit about the game and yet still continue to play the game.
Mhm.
Does the shoe fit?
Yeah.
For me, yes, I do the same thing. I do the exact same thing. I bitch
Walk
and
no
complain
talk.
a lot about that game, and yet I love it mostly
Also,
for the
take a
lore.
shot.
Fuck. Mostly
We're not
for
on
the
that
lore.
side.
Mostly now, more so for the lore because I actually very much got tired of the gameplay and the mechanics. It's the same shit over and over and over again, and so I finally got bored of the gameplay. But I still play the game because of the story and the lore. Shot.
When's that game come out?
February 22nd.
What
The
day
next
is it?
expansion.
Pre-order. I have
Oh.
8 games pre-ordered.
I'm gonna take a shot with you. So I just realized that if you guys look in my Switch account, it shows you how many hours I've played Fighters, and it says 400 and plus hours,
Whew.
and that's just me playing the game. And I don't hate the game, I just hate some of the stuff in the game. So I still love the game. Taking a shot. See? And I love the game. I love and hate the game. And now that they have a new characters coming out, it makes me want joyous to play the game, just to play it. Am I gonna bitch about the game when the character comes out? Yes, because it's a game that I enjoy. I'm not gonna complain, but like, oh, they need to remove this character in it. I'm enjoying the game for what it is, because God forbid, not even God forbid, God knows when I'm gonna get a new DLC, new expansion, new thing for the
Mhm.
game. And I wear the shoe, as Randy said. I will wear that shit every day. Hating the game as well, but I'm like I'm enjoying
Yeah.
what I'm wearing.
The funny thing is that, and a lot of people from the community for Destiny as well, they say this as well, is that if you're complaining about a specific game, it's because you want it to do well. It's because you want it to make those proper changes in order for it to live long and people play it and stuff. If people said nothing about the game, that's when you worry.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you have to be careful how you approach the complaints. That's the problem, and that's where the toxicity comes from. Is how
Wait, but
they
this is
approach those complaints.
Hold
this.
on, hold on,
Go ahead.
hold on.
Hold
Now,
on.
you could definitely say that if you're bitching, it means that it's good. But
Hmm.
at the same time, bitching is also bad because you do have a bunch of whiners.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just that they want to complain to complain.
Well,
If those don't
I'm
complain
talking
about
about those that are complaining but still play the game.
like constructively, oh no, no,
Yes.
yeah. No, but there are those that are going to bitch about it, still play
Yeah.
it, but just talk shit to talk shit,
Yeah.
You
Of
you
course.
right?
There's always those.
Now, I can guarantee you that I'll drink this thing for all this because everyone's drinking shit.
Mhm.
Um,
By the way,
what?
Randy is naked. That's why you can't see him.
Oh,
Ooh,
definitely. Just
spicy.
you hear that? That right there? I'm swinging it around.
He's
Jesus
helicoptering.
Christ.
My God.
No, but for real. So like, what is it for Kingdom Hearts 2? People have their complaints about it, and they just want to bitch to bitch. Me, on the other hand, I have no complaints about it because I think that it's a perfect goddamn fucking game, and I discover more and more every time I play it.
Of course.
So the most I would complain about is probably the Little Mermaid fucking level. That's it. Just Atlantica. That's my biggest complaint on how shitty it is. But aside from, there's nothing to really bitch about.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna happily just. There it is.
Yeah.
Cheers. Fucking
I
have my
love the
drink.
Little Mermaid part.
Shut
Fuck
up.
you.
No, you don't.
You're the only
No,
one.
you don't.
No.
If you
Hold on,
say
hold
that
on.
you
No, no,
do,
no.
you're lying
This
to
is
yourself
this is
and everybody
this
else.
is
Why?
because
I
because
like
Danny
it.
has kids. That's why. Danny has kids. He's already desensitized to all that shit. So like he's fine
No, I
with it.
think that
He
came
listens
way
to
before I had
Teletubbies
kids.
and whatever weird other stuff that people are singing on television now, Baby Shark and shit. So
Look,
he's good.
it had a great mechanic. I mean, it was like it completely changed into
What? Just
the
a fucking.
fucking.
It
It
was
was
just
a
a rhythm game.
bad
That's it.
version of Rock Band.
It was
I liked it.
You were playing shitty Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah.
It
Bootleg
completely
Guitar Man.
changed.
You know what?
It's a great break from the monotony of everything that was exactly the same. You know, combo, fucking
You
attack. It was fun. I like that
you
part.
can't sit here and lie to us. Okay, so the
This
only
is
thing
before
I
I had
could give
kids. This is way before I had kids.
This
When I beat that
Yeah,
game.
that's true. That's true.
Somebody else's lake.
Please stop.
Like
yeah.
fucking head ass.
Look,
The
I'm
only
also I'm a huge Disney fan. I fucking love everything
Oh
Disney.
no,
I
dude,
really do.
fucking same. Like it,
Well,
I'm a huge Disney fan as well. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that that Little Mermaid thing was just fucking garbage.
it was dog
No,
water.
I loved it. No,
It's
I
dog water.
strongly disagree. I love that.
Because like, what is it for KH3? I could say that like
Fucking
I could honestly say without a fucking doubt the
Shot for
gummy
that too.
ship portion. Yeah, I will. But the gummy ship portions of
I
Kingdom
hate
Hearts
those.
3
I hate the gummy
were
part.
fucking way better than what the main story
No.
Yeah.
was of Kingdom Hearts
I
3.
hate
No,
I hate
For a
no,
one
no,
part
dude,
1, 2, and
they
3.
had
I hate the gummy ship stuff.
no,
no,
the
part
gummy.
1, I
never,
can understand
never.
hating it. Part 2 was really fun
Nope.
because it was like
No,
you could cheese it.
it's so
Part
cheesy.
3,
They're
no,
so
no, no.
bad.
It's
Part
almost
3,
like playing a loading screen. Like all you're doing is it's
Yes.
loading
no,
to
that's
the
part
next
1.
it's
That's
loading
part
to the
1.
next
Part 1,
world
2, and
and
3.
you're playing a little mini game until you get to the next world. I could not
No,
stand that thing.
because the thing with 3 is that it was an open world thing. They had a fucking Einhander reference for fuck's sake. The
Yeah.
final boss included and the goddamn ship with the 2 little gummies.
The Einhander
There
thing
was
does
a
not redeem
whole
the whole gummy ship the
Oh, no,
whole
no, no.
gummy
It's
ship
so
No,
thing.
bad.
I'm
So
not I'm not gonna say that it
and
redeems
it
it
was
because
beyond
1
easy. If it was challenging, then you can say this. But it was so fucking easy. That was like, why even do this?
but
I
also
feel
but
like
Yeah.
also that goes
one
to
and
say a
two were a
lot.
little harder.
No, but
One
that
and
goes
two
to
were
say
a
a
little
lot for
harder.
what the
You had to
story
put
was
some.
for Kingdom Hearts 3. Because the
I,
story for 3 was fucking dog water.
It was
It
dog water.
was horrible. The last world was really good, but the gummy ship shit was a lot better because at least it
oh,
felt like something arcade, like kind of arcadey. Kingdom Hearts 1
Mm.
was definitely a loading screen.
Should have
Kingdom
just been
Hearts
an
2
option.
had challenges.
Can I?
Well, no, but also the only thing
yes,
that's
I agree. Should have
mandatory
been an option.
is no, because it is optional. The only thing mandatory is the boss
One of them
fights
is,
to get some of the things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the
Otherwise,
games.
you're
I
Hold on,
not
think part
hold
required
on,
to.
hold on,
2 was
Kevin.
optional.
Kevin's got his hand raised for quite
He's
a
had his
while.
hand up for a while.
Yeah, I have my hand up for a minute. I know Randy's he's not gonna hate me, but he's gonna like partially agree with me. What was the best world to you? Your opinion.
Me for 3?
3.
World. Okay.
I mean, Toy Story. Everybody
It's
thinks Toy Story.
yeah. No, Toy Story
No,
for sure.
Toy
So, no,
Story.
all right.
it's 2 of them. There's 2 of them. Toy Story and Monsters Inc. Aside
Ooh,
from the entire
Toy
game of shit.
Story, but Toy
okay.
Story was more so
No,
because you got to be in that room, look around the room. You know, like it brought you into the world. You
yeah,
know,
no,
and then not
but
only that, but
also
jump
it was
outside the window and look around the fucking house and in the
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood. That was
Yep.
phenomenal. Like
that
that was
that
absolutely
was
phenomenal.
really good, but also the thing with that was that it kind of wasn't story based. Okay, so pretty much what every single level has to do is that it takes part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Story didn't do
Was
anything
wasn't
with
it
1
was
through 4 or even 1 through 3.
it
What
was
it did was that it was baby Xehanort being like, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck with these guys. I'm gonna steal Andy's heart and I'm gonna keep them in a world that I create, essentially in limbo." So that isn't canon at all. It's just like a kind of like, oh, it's a fanon. It's
okay.
literally a fan story.
I don't. All
Now,
right.
Monsters Inc.
Oh my
Okay.
Now
god.
Monsters
I don't
Inc.
know how we ended
does
up
take
here. Go
place.
ahead. Finish
No,
up.
but Monsters Inc. does take place after the movie,
Mm.
right? So it's Monsters U,
Oh, I got
Monsters
you. I
Inc.,
got
and then it's
And then
Kingdom
the
Hearts
game.
3. So that takes place within the storyline. whereas Toy Story doesn't. Both levels were amazing in their own right. Don't get me wrong, because Woody fucking grew some nuts, and he's like, "You're worse than a toy because you're empty as shit." But Monsters Inc. was really fucking up there because it did so
Okay.
fucking much and it
All
was
right.
beautiful.
No more Kingdom Hearts talk.
Hold
No,
on,
hold on.
one-
No,
wait,
no
wait,
more
wait,
on that
wait, wait, wait,
because we're gonna have
I'm gonna drink the rest of
I'm
this
gonna
right
mute
now.
everybody if I have to.
hold on.
So
I could just say
we're
one
gonna
thing.
we're gonna go through an episode specifically for Randy with Kingdom Hearts and stuff. We're not gonna talk more about this because we already ended up in a hole. Like we strayed so far away from what the main point was already. So
I wanted to say one thing. Okay, so
if it's about the game, I'm gonna mute you.
No. It was just about my world. I prefer Pirates of the Caribbean, but that's controversial.
Okay,
We can talk about this later.
good.
That's it.
Done. Done. Done.
Now,
So
no more. Hold wait. No
So-
more
no,
talk
no.
of that.
Okay.
No. I want to mention something actually in regards to like the 500 hour shit. So in the whole like requirement for like long ass stuff, there is a game that takes an entire year to play.
What's that?
The Longing, where everything happens in real time from the moment that you start it, and things happen like it's literally second for second. Even when the game is not running, it keeps on going, and it has a timer within itself. So if something requires 3 days to open up, it will take 3 actual live days to do so.
I wonder
that
why I've never
sounds
heard of
boring.
this.
Yeah, but the thing is that first off, fuck you. Second off, there are people that do enjoy shit like that. So the
Uh-huh.
whole 20 hour requirement to do a game, that's great. A 500 requirement to complete the game, that's also great. The point is that it doesn't have to be mandatory, but if it's something that you're into, it's something that you want to do, by all means,
Yeah,
fucking do it.
no, I agree with that.
But
But
you're
when
not
you're saying
obligated.
that that whole real time thing that's mandatory, like
No,
you're
no.
waiting that
No.
amount of time for
That's
whatever
what
reason.
Yeah, that's what that one game is. But
Yeah.
Dying Light, they're saying
No.
that there's 20 hours to do this, 80 hours if you want to do this, and 500 if you want to do this as well.
Yeah.
So they're giving you options. So those that are bitching and fucking moaning about it,
Yeah.
they just want a reason to fucking complain
Any-
because there is nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Any open world game that I play, like I literally just go through the story and then I just move on to the next thing. So like you can spend your time getting all the resources and the towers in fucking Far Cry or Horizon and things like that. But like I story and then done. I move on.
Yeah, and that's actually the point I was going to take. What if the generation that we're used to we're used to having Mario and only having fucking Mario and having to abuse Mario as much as we can because we know the real games, right? That's our generation, me and you, right? Like that's why we love Final Fantasy so much because we can play the hell out of it and whatever. Same thing for GTA, all that shit. You only have one game at the time, one or two games at a time. Now we're in a completely different generation where a game comes out every other week or every week.
Every
is
day,
a new
bro.
game.
Every day.
Almost, on average, I think a good game, AAA game, even not even just a game, but a AAA game is coming out at least every week, right? So we're in this different type of time where do we really want to spend the time? Even 20 hours might seem too long because that means you can't beat the next game. You know what I mean? Like that's why people
20
could
hours is too
complain.
long?
Well, I'm saying that's why they could complain because they can be like, well, I don't want to spend so much time because I'd rather just play Resident Evil, beat Resident Evil, and then move on to the next game. I just beat Metroid Dread. I beat that in a day. I'll move on to the next game.
Yeah.
Like they become more accustomed to having these short spurts. Same thing for like streaming. People don't like as much. I mean, they still do it every now and then, but the slow burner having to wait every fucking week. They'd want that. Well, I want it right now.
I'm not.
What if it's the same thing of I want to beat this game now. I want to beat this game today. Get it over with. See how much fun it was, and then talk about it. I think kids or people are different nowadays.
I don't know. I think it's split either way. There are
Because you said it
millions.
yourself. I don't have time to play that game.
No. For me, yes, specifically. But what I'm saying is, on the other perspective is that I don't think it's a generational thing. I think it's just really, really just gaming community in general. Like I'm just throwing a number out there, but just half and half split is that 50% of the community wants short games, like you just said, and another 50% wants their money's worth and wants to continue, maybe because they have the time or because they want to just stick with one game and not have to focus on jumping from game to game and stuff and play 500 hours of a game and feel like it's worth it. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's a generational thing. I think it's really just a preference.
Yeah.
I'm not saying just generational. I just think a culture thing, like just
Uh-huh.
what they've developed so many games to be right now. I mean, gamers are gamer regardless of your age right now. I don't think that's an age. It's an age too much an age thing anymore as it used to be. I think it's just what you're accustomed to, what we've become accustomed to. You know, we've become accustomed to playing shorter game, beating them and thinking it's okay. Because
Yeah.
I when you guys said that Resident Evil was so short, I was like, you guys aren't upset at that? Like, I was confused. I'm like, you guys aren't upset that the game's so short that you can beat the game in like 6 hours?
No.
And you guys were like, no, the game was a fun game. It was a great game. They did a good job, kept moving, keep going. I'm like, oh, well, I come from a different place where uh, I got cut off, so I'm talking to myself.
No, you're here. I will hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Do you hear us? Yeah, I guess he did get cut off.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with what he was saying. So, Resident Evil being short hours, short was kind of it was like confusing to him because he's used to the game being longer, which I can totally understand. And like we didn't have a problem with it because the game was good, even though like we would like it to be more hours, but more hours just means like you have to fill more story. It wouldn't be as. And he's back.
I think it also just depends on the game too, because games like Elder Scrolls are meant to be like long, and you could and The Witcher even, for example, because Witcher, a lot of people say of how long that game is, it's never ending. But games like Resident Evil or The Last of Us, like they shouldn't be 500-hour games. They're focused
But
more on the story.
I was just saying that when I was cut off.
Yeah.
I was saying that like when I first heard that the Resident Evil game was short, I came from super disappointed. Like I thought when I heard how short the game was, that you guys would be like, "Oh, that's disappointing." But instead, you guys were like, "No, no, it's fine. It is
Yeah.
a funny game. It kept it going. I moved on to
Well,
something
what
else."
would you expect from
And
a Resident Evil game?
all the other Resident Evils are much longer than that. All
You could
the
beat
real
every Resident Evil game within 2 to 4 hours.
yeah,
What are you talking
yes,
about?
if you know exactly what you're doing. But when you first fucking play one of those Resident Evil, even, like the last one I played, the part 5.
Hmm.
No, the remake, the one of the remake in the jail cell. It took me a while to get through everything because it was a little challenging. It was a little harder. This, you know, and I got scared, but still,
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
but even like you hear everybody else, but it felt like a little bit longer game, backtracking,
Yeah.
taking your slow burns, and this didn't seem to seem like okay, we beat the boss, we're going to the next. It's more of an action, purely action based,
Mm.
extremely run and gun type, almost action based game than anything else. And again, I was just, and it's fine. It is what it is. People loved it. People liked it. Um, it wasn't my cup of tea because I expected again just the average. I like the longer being drawn into those games and not wanting them to end. You know,
How I would like to ask a question. How long would you like Resident Evil to be so that it could like so that I know because I
I
just want
think
to I just
I think
not more
about
time.
15 to 20 hours will be great because it's the stories of Resident Evil, what
The
they
thing
can
is,
do, well,
the
what they can do and what they can creep you out and keep you uh, uh, uh
all right, the creep stuff. See, that's where I have to disagree with you, because the problem is with a very, very long horror game is that you eventually get desensitized over that stuff. So like you may be like a bit sensitive with the horror games, and like it takes you no, hold
yeah,
on, it takes you a while to play these games. But what I'm saying in general, when you're playing one specific horror game, after a while the scares in the game itself start to die down.
no,
So
I
you
agree with
make
that.
it,
I
if
agree
you
with that.
start making a 15, 20-hour horror game, it's not scary anymore.
No, I agree with that. But the original Resident Evil, great example, the first two that we played. When we first play them, they're scary as shit. The zombies coming at you, like holy shit, fucking run, right? After a while, you get used to that, and you just run past them like they don't belong to anything, type of thing. But you're still interested in the story, what's going on, the tyrant, the this, the that, they have an in-depth story about the T virus and all that bullshit. It evolved from just being a scary game to what the fuck is going on game. And I think Resident Evil Resident Evil has always been really good at we have this crazy story. Let me try to explain it to you, but and in these little portions and put scares in the very beginning. It's mostly in the beginning. Most of the scares in the beginning, they know they die out. They're not meant to be complete horror games unless you're being chased by Nemesis. Nemesis is completely different. Nemesis freaks you out no matter what.
Mhm.
But they've
So
always like, why is this police station burnt? Why is this town burnt? What the fuck's going on? How are we gonna get out of here? And I think they've always had that. And if you have like a 15 hours of that, again, I'm not saying 15 hours of if I can straight run and gun it and beat it. Yeah, that's 15
No,
hours.
that just
I'm
turns into an
saying,
action game. Yeah.
yeah, I'm saying 15 hours of this nice, slow, story-driven game, which the first few were. I think they went away from after part four. They went away from that story-driven, that hardcore story-driven, and just wanted to have a fun
The
game,
story
which is
is still
fine.
rich. Like every single Resident Evil game has lasted 2 to 4
yeah,
hours regardless, and the story is still rich. As ridiculous as the story is, it's still a rich story. Like I don't know why you would want to extend something like that like any further.
But
yeah,
I don't understand what do you mean? There's no way that the first few games that we've played were 2 hours. I mean, we've
Yes, a
we
hundred
played them.
percent.
if you go through every Resident Evil and you go through the exact playtime, even if you're playing a beginner, it's
As a
max.
beginner,
As a beginner, it's max
That's what I'm
10
saying,
to 15,
and I'm
10
talking
to
and I'm
15.
talking about. That's what I'm saying. They're like 10 to 15 hours. There are
Yeah,
on the 15-hour mark.
if you're your first time
but
playing the game,
that has nothing to do with the story. That's just because you're wandering around not knowing what to do.
yeah,
That's
like
part of that, but it's part of the story. That's part of the game. You figuring out what the fuck's going
yeah,
on. That's
yeah, no,
part of it.
that's what we're saying. It's like it's 10 to 15 hours if you want to understand, like, to understand and get lost. Because like
Yeah,
for
get
me,
lost in the game and have fun.
yeah, because me getting lost in the game is like it's godsend. It's always happens. Like
But
Mhm.
I would play a game for
there's
35 hours, and it's because I don't know what I'm doing.
There's
So
plenty of
then,
lore though, because
yeah,
it's not just about the story, but there's lots of documents, there's videos, there's a lot of
yeah,
like slides and
Yes,
shit that you
and there
find
is.
throughout the thing. That's when you're exploring. And so if you don't know where you're going or what you're doing, yes, you could take the game 10 to 15 hours because you're still exploring and you're finding all these little side items that you don't
Yes,
have to get, but it's
but
all there.
the
mhm,
problem is okay, and that's right. The problem is the new game that just came out. Even if you took that time, it's only about 8 hours. Was
yeah,
kind of sad.
Yeah.
max 9 hours.
And if you sped through it, like you didn't care about any of that stuff, and you sped through it, it's 5 to 6,
Yeah.
which is very disappointing. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying. To me, it's disappointing because I want to get
But that's your
involved in
option.
this game.
That's your
Yes,
option.
you're right.
Yeah.
But no, but there are only two options. Your option is 5 6 hours. Okay, you speed through the game, or you spend an extra 3 hours and 8 hours. It's still not a lot. It's not a lot.
Uh-huh.
mhm,
If you could have told me that it's 8 hours speed through the game and 15 hours to
mhm.
take your time and get enthralled, I'd have been like, that's more satisfying. That's double the game.
I don't
You know what
know.
I mean? And that's what's kind of was disappointing overall
I
when
don't
I first heard. But again, people weren't. But my point is that people were not upset like yourself.
yeah.
You weren't upset,
Yeah,
and even if what I played, I wasn't upset with what I played. I liked what I played. I was having fun. I enjoyed it. I
you
think
liked
it's
it.
become a different norm for what we were used to when we were
Mm,
kids, and sometimes because I kind of stick to a few games, when I jump into the new norm, I'm like, wait, this seems stupid, but it's only because of what I'm used to. But now that I'm getting used to it, it makes sense to me that that game was short because
Uh-huh.
I want to play the next game. I'm done with Resident Evil. I'm not gonna fucking. Nobody's really gonna ever really play it again. Yes, there are those people who try to speed run or master or whatever, but that's their choice.
Well, it's all
You know,
appropriate. It's all appropriate depending on what type of game it is. That's what I'm saying.
because and
Like
again,
there's games like
we
Resident
have
Evil that
so
could
many.
be short like that, but there's games like Elder Scrolls. You don't want Elder Scrolls to be a 4 hour game.
No, no, and yes, and of course,
you know,
every game is different. MMO is going to be way different from
mhm,
RPGs, and RPGs different action games. But even a game like Deathloop, Deathloop is a pure action game with a great fucking weird, interesting story. That
mhm.
game can be done. Actually, no matter what, that game is pretty long because you
Like
have to
3 hours.
die and come back.
Yeah.
That's the final loop is a few
You
hours.
can't beat the game in 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying. That's
What?
impossible to
No.
actually beat. It's impossible. It gives you a notion that you
I love
could
how
like it.
certain he was with that, right?
Yeah, right.
Like,
It gives you a
can you
note.
do it? Please tell me no.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
gives you a
no.
notion, like the idea that all you need is a perfect run, but it's impossible to actually achieve. And it's an action game, and it's a game that if you want it, so you can get every power up and every fucking weapon and every and take the
20
time to go
minutes.
even more than what the fucking game is.
You can beat the game in 20 minutes or
Yeah,
earlier.
if you
2 hours
speed,
and a half. Even if you
yeah,
speed
Yeah,
in
we're
2
not
minutes.
talking about some speedrunning glitch bullshit though.
No, no, no,
yeah, that's
no.
what I'm saying.
The
It's
game
like there's lots of like
was 2
Resident
and a half.
Evil. All of these games have these fucking speed running type things, but I'm talking about if, like we say, the beginner, the average person who first
Oh
picks
yeah.
up this game and starts to play it.
Yeah.
That's what we're always talking about. The average person just picking it up, playing the
Mhm.
game, seeing what's going out, and then getting enthralled with the game.
Well,
How long it takes
funny
it.
enough, when I was playing Deathloop, and you guys remember this, I put down the game for a while, and that's actually because I started to get bored of it. Because in my head,
Long.
now that it's in retrospect, yeah, it was too long. I was just like, all right, I got
Right?
other shit I gotta play. This
And
is
that's
already getting too long for me.
And that's my point. Like, what I think the whole time should change. So when a game like Dying Light, bringing it back to why the competition really fucking began, says they're 20 hours. You can, for the main story. Then it's 50 hours if you want to get enthralled in it. Then it's 500 hours if you want to beat everything. People can go,
That's
oh well. I can see why people are complaining about it because they're like, wait, that's a long fucking time for a game. Because I'm so used to not having to really play that long for games,
Hmm.
listen.
And I think it's a bad trend. I don't like that trend. I come from an older generation where, I don't have a lot of time, so I play one game until I finish beating it. I don't care how long it takes, and I love the fact that games take long. Like I so fucking wish that like some of these games I like Metroid or whatever was so much longer, so I could still be playing it.
So
But
I can sum this up in one quote. The game is E for everyone, meaning everybody can play it. But the game doesn't have to be for everyone. You know what I mean? Like that's it's just like if you don't want to play the game, if you don't have time to play the game, then don't play it. If you want to play
Is
the
it
game,
E for everyone, Metroid?
no, I'm talking about it's I'm saying it in the sense of everyone can play it,
Yeah. Okay.
but not in the sense of it's actually E for everyone. I think
Okay.
it's E.
I thought you were comparing the ESRB to how like
Oh
how
no
easy a game it is, how easy a game is
no
to play. Okay.
no. You can play the game. You can play the game and it's for everyone if you want to play. As in Dying Light, I'm saying you can play it and it's for everyone to get.
Yeah.
If you don't want to spend that time to play it, then don't do it. I understand that it's like the notion of you want the game to be longer or you want the game to be shorter. It's a game and it's coming out as full as it can, so it doesn't have as many delays. It doesn't have like startup issues or it crashes the moment you play it. It's
we,
literally coming out
but they can't promise that either.
they
I
can't.
mean,
They can't.
Yeah.
It's gonna
till
happen
the game
regardless.
actually comes out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
day one
Yeah,
is always shit. It's always a shitstorm. But
yeah.
the game being 20 hours to play, I don't see a problem with it. I see that all right, it's 20 hours to beat the story and like understand the story. If you want to do everything else, that's where I feel like it's fine. Resident Evil, I would prefer the game would be long, but it was short and sweet, and I enjoyed that. Even though I wanted more, it was short and sweet. Like Lady Dimitrescu dying in the beginning of the game broke my fucking heart. I wanted her to be
That was the worst part of that game.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
the worst part of the game, and you got nobody else to chase you. You're just like, is anybody gonna be there? No. She was
Yeah.
like the most fun nemesis of that of the
Well,
franchise.
she was a nemesis with personality.
Yeah, personality, a lot of
Yeah,
plot.
yeah, fucking just a lot of
A
a
lot of
A
heavy,
lot.
thick,
It was so
juicy
much personality.
personality,
It was so all
and
right.
just
Let's
a
stop.
very
This
plump
is when
plot.
Randy decides to chime in.
Oh, oh, hell yeah, of course, fucking
Yeah,
dude. What we're talking about, Lady D, and her
like,
plot,
yeah.
her story.
She had a lot of presence.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. We're gonna move on. We've been on this topic long enough.
Her terrible
So
twins.
the gist
The
of
dynamic
everything
duo.
the gist of everything is that you can spend 500 hours, you can spend 20 hours. It's
The
all
bountiful
good. It's all
bust.
okay. Oh my God, Randy. All right. So
So
the next thing that we're gonna talk about, is speaking of the long and short games and all this type of shit. So I wanted to ask all you guys, were there any games with stories that have been emotional for you? Like things either that made you tear up or cry or made you think some existential shit or whatever it is that you guys want to talk about at all. What were you guys doing? Randy.
Who's gonna go first? Oh,
Randy.
yes. Okay,
Yeah.
cool, nice.
And this is because
Um,
you didn't get to say much before either. So
Well, I mean, I kind of did, but anyhow, Guitar Man, I'm gonna drink for that one
why?
because Well, because my two games that we have decided were both Kingdom Hearts 1 and Guitar Man, so that is now 3 that I have
Well,
to take.
what I mean is, yeah, why
Oh,
is it, why is it
I thought you meant
emotional?
like why do I have to drink for
No,
it?
no, no. Why was it emotional for you? Like
No, it's
I
emotional
I
because
find that
it's
strange.
basically find it straight. Have you played the game? Have you seen the
Not
story?
since God knows how long. I don't know the last time I played. Yeah, I don't know how I remember last time I played that game.
Okay, so pretty much, you start off as U1, which is a literal fucking nobody. His confidence is like you're playing Limbo in hell with it. That's how low like his self-esteem is. Um, throughout the entire thing, it's just him like growing as a character, growing more confident in what he can do, and it's just the whole thing of like just be happy with yourself, like regardless of what it is. There's no need to kind of put yourself down, and anyone that puts you down, fuck them. Like you're gonna overcome that shit because you're you. You're a guitar man. You're better than any of your fucking fears. It's
Hmm.
it's a really good fucking game, honestly. Because during the last level, and that's the one that makes you cry all the fucking time. The antagonist Zoe, he wants to keep on berating you one and telling him that like he can't do anything. What was it? Was it never do anything, fail at all things? um, that he won't amount to anything in a million billion years. It's really childish, but at the same time, like your own self doubt is pretty fucking childish in of itself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you definitely see it that way.
Yeah,
I didn't really think about it that way, and it's mostly because I haven't. It's been so long since I played it too.
I was like 7 when I played it, and I still
God.
fucking cried then. Like I was still sad about a lot of shit, but even now, like I'll play it, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm bigger than my issues. Like they can't weigh me down because I'm not gonna let them. Like what's the point of giving into this bullshit?
Hmm.
It's not fair to me. It's not fair at all.
You have any other?
Um, we're doing multiple games.
Yeah.
As long as we don't take up too much time.
Well, I'll leave. I'll let everyone else speak, and I'll think of other ones because I'm pretty sure I do have a bunch of others. I'm a big ass fucking crybaby. Fuck that.
Kevin, what about you?
Obvious. I was gonna say Sonic Adventure 2 Battle to piss Randy off. Just to say
What?
Metroid Other M.
Metroid Other M. But honestly, Persona 4. Persona 4 was a game that I played and I actually cried with that. I still cry with that game every time. I laugh about it, and the story is basically a lot of an issue that a lot of people don't, I would say, deal with is like facing your actual self, like the most vile, disgusting version of yourself, and then having it manifest and see it in front of you, and like you accepting it.
Hmm.
So I've always had an issue with like accepting myself. I'm a big guy, and like I'm funny, but it's like it took a lot of time for me to get used to that. Like me understanding that it's okay to accept yourself. You're in this situation for now. It's not forever. You can always change, and that game helped me. It actually helped me with confidence. Like think about like talk to people in the way that they want to be talked to. Understand them. Take the time to understand them. Listen. Pay attention to their strengths and weaknesses. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of things that it was more emotional and like outside that it helped me understand playing the game, and I really appreciate that game. Honestly, like if you
Hmm.
haven't played it, I recommend it.
Have I played it before?
Don't worry, I'll gift it to you.
Danny, what about you?
Um, I thought about it. Like I don't really have like.
No
I think
emotional
me.
attachments?
No, I mean the closest one, and it was almost just because it's like a joke was Overblood Beepo. When
Mhm.
Beepo died, I was like, oh, that's kind of sad. You know? Yeah, exactly.
People.
But it became like such like a trope joke almost, or like it stopped being. But I think maybe if I would have played Last of Us,
Mm.
I probably would have had that because I have a kid and
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
I have that little attachment there. But
I think you'd
other than
also like Walking Dead, Telltale game. Walking Dead.
yeah,
I think you'd like that too.
I can't. I have trouble playing Telltale games. I find other people there,
Um,
um, but yeah, and but those are, even those because those are more cinema than games themselves. So games have never really triggered that in me,
Okay.
and never I've never had like an emotional attachment because I've always been able to go just a game type of thing, a little different from like a movie where you can see yourself. Like I'm never gonna see myself in fucking Cloud. It's just not
Yeah.
happening. I'm not seeing myself in Paul. I'm not seeing myself in any of these games that we
You
play.
don't see yourself with that luscious blonde hair, either spiky or like
A mega
his
flat
house.
top.
This mega flat
A
top.
mega flat top.
Mega flat top. Bro, he
Maybe
plays with a
Fucking
mega flat
the
top.
Benny Maru.
maybe
Danny,
man.
Danny's got Danny's doesn't have hair anymore, so maybe he wishes he had that flat top.
That's why. That's why I said
Bro, all
Eggman.
Yeah.
He's Saitama now, the Puerto Rican Saitama.
Uno
Instead of
Duno.
one punch, it's one chocolatazo.
One chocolatazo.
One
That's
chocolate.
good.
One chocolatazo, man.
Oh, no, but I know like I've had movies do it fucking galore.
Uh-huh.
Like
Okay.
animes. Like anime would be the closest thing that even
Man,
though
the only
like
anime that ever hit me hard was Full Metal Alchemist. That was pretty much it.
Full Out of Alchemist makes me cry thinking about it. Like just
Yeah.
thinking about the
Really?
whole concept. Oh my
Oh,
god! Like I'm
hold on.
starting to tear up now.
You know what made me cry? Actually,
Fuck.
fucking Dan was there for that one when he was telling me the end of Supernatural.
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, TV shows I cry about all the time because I invested so many seasons, so many
You're a
years.
little bitch.
I cried. Oh, yeah, I am. I cried during Supernatural, the ending of Supernatural, the ending of Lucifer, the ending of Lost, the ending of Buffy.
All those shows got similarities.
Motherfucker said Buffy.
Man. I love supernatural stuff. I love fantasy and supernatural things, but when you invest so much time in the characters, like I could understand that if you don't invest any emotional energy towards a game because you're only playing it for so long. But like when you're spending years, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Supernatural's been out for 15 years, like that, I could understand that.
Jesus. I was
There's a
what?
movie.
I was
There's
9.
a movie out. There's a kids movie. This is like fucking besides Up and shit like that because that was the most. If you ever watch Up, it's the most depressing.
Up is a cheap shot.
Oh, the first 10 minutes are emotional.
No, Up is a cheap shot.
The first is absolutely. But what was just as bad as Up for me? I don't know. There's a movie called Vivo. It's on Netflix. It's done by Liminal.
Okay.
And you get this cute story in the very beginning of this. The main character's Kinkachu, right? And it's like, oh, what is a Kinkachu doing in Cuba? It's, oh, he saved me with his music. It's all about his music, and they have this lovely song about him, and you hear the music, and the music connects us all, and maybe one more song could be the thing to connect the blah blah blah, whatever. And it's get this in the very beginning. And the whole story is the old man wants to go to Miami to go see the love of his life that he met, and you get this within the first 15 fucking minutes, and there's like 2 lovely songs about it, and you go, okay, this is what the fucking story this is gonna be. These fucking adventure of this guy. Fucking that the grandfather, he dies in the seat. He dies right there. And I'm watching this with my kids, and I'm starting to cry. 'Cause I'm like, this is fucked up, right? And
Wow.
I'm like, oh man, like they just gave you this heartbreaking, like you thought what this story was gonna. This is where this story was gonna go, and he dies in the chair, and I now have to explain it. No, he's just sleeping to my kid because he has no idea. They both have no idea what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
And then it's have this heart wrenching song, and he's chasing the letter of the music note that he wanted to give to the girl, that the song he wrote, it's just blown away, and he's crying at the same time. He's thinking about how we should have had one more song together. I just want to play one more song with you. I'm crying just thinking about it. And then my kids want to listen to this fucking music, right? Because they love the music of it. And in the car, and I'm like bawling in the fucking car by myself, right? And the kids like, "You okay?"
I'm picturing Danny running to the car after the movie, just like,
No,
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I need to take a drive.
They listen to it in the car while we're driving. I take them to school. I want to listen to Viva. I'm like, oh god.
No,
All
please.
right.
Wait, so hold on. Was
just one more song? I swear to God, if you, I, have to
I wrote it down. I want to check that out, actually.
it's actually
was
great
Sad
movie.
Kirby fitting for this
It
episode?
sounds.
Yeah, it seems like it now, right?
Yes. Yes.
It sounds. It Lemon well, so it does that nice hip hop.
Oh yeah, he does the great music.
Hamilton?
Man. Yeah, Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Well,
So yeah,
Encanto too. Encanto was
yeah,
Cashew.
he did the
I haven't
musicals.
I haven't
Yeah,
Oh,
seen
you missing
either of the
out.
three.
yeah, that's
So
good. But
look, Encanto,
watch Viva,
Encanto is
trust me.
just as emotional because all of us being Spanish here, it really
Yeah,
focuses a lot on like Spanish heritage and how damaging family can be when it comes to like the older folks, like grandmas and mothers and stuff like that. Like, oh
Oh,
man,
okay, sign me the
holy
fuck up.
shit.
Hold on. So I got a question. So
but
wouldn't that be
Viva,
like
shit,
you remember
trust me.
you remember Coco?
Coco
Yeah,
too. Coco
Yeah,
was just as
Yeah,
yeah.
sad.
Coco
Coco,
was
bro, I
amazing.
cried in that movie. Because
Yeah,
it reminded
Coco
me
was
of my
great.
grandma so fucking much, and
yeah,
I
Oh,
was
my
hurt.
yeah.
I was hurt.
my grandmother passed of Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
So all I kept thinking is about my grandmother forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All I kept fucking thinking
So
about. That's another
Yeah.
level. That's
All
a
right.
personal level
so
for me.
So
hold on. I want to recommend.
last
So
one,
can
yeah.
can we do like animes as well? Because I have a movie, but I don't know if you guys are ready for it.
I guess, yeah.
All right, so I can do this one, and I can say wholeheartedly it's an amazing movie. All of us, I honestly say we should watch it again. I've seen the movie like 6-7 times already. I watch it like almost every weekend now.
Ghost in the
Uh,
Shell.
no, it's called The Silent Voice, and it was a movie that I don't know
What?
if you guys heard A Silent Voice.
I never heard that.
No, never heard of it.
Yeah,
Google, here we go.
yeah, so look it up. It's a movie about a bully that bullies a girl with she has hearing problems, so he bullies her. And then he tries to redeem himself later on in life because a lot of shit happens. And then his whole goal was to pretty much repay everybody and then alt F4 himself because we can't say
It's
certain
like
things.
7 pounds.
Yeah, it's like 7 pounds.
Okay. Oh,
But he's a
Letty
tight
agrees too. Silent voice is emotional as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and then I've cried every time I watch the movie, and it doesn't matter how many
Never
times
seen
I
that.
watch it.
Okay.
Huh? It's
I
on
never
Netflix.
seen that. I'll watch that.
Netflix.
I
Okay.
would say watch it, but don't watch it with your kids because they're not gonna
What was it
understand
called again?
It's A Silent Voice.
What was that Will
Um,
Smith movie with his kid?
uh,
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of
Pursuit of
Happiness.
Happiness. I
that
also cried on that movie
that,
too.
Yeah.
Oh
that
my
was the
god.
worst scene in the world, especially if you're a father. Oh my god, forget
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Next,
So, all right. So,
Wait, so are we like just leaving video games and going to like
well,
shit
no,
just
I'm
overall?
gonna go into mine because I do have two suggestions and kind of like an honorable mention. I don't have too much to say about the first one, but I still recommend anybody play it, especially if you don't mind it just being mostly story. It's mostly just story and kind of puzzle in a way. It's an 8-bit game called To the Moon. Have any of you guys played it or heard of it?
Oh,
This is a fucking sad, and I think this will make a great concept for a movie, honestly. And what it's
that
about
is
is,
fucked up. Oh
yeah,
my god,
what it's about
it's
is
been years.
two scientists. They kind of have this service where they can change your memories to make you think that you have accomplished all your hopes and dreams, all the things that you've ever wanted to do. And the thing is that it erases your previous memories. So they usually prefer that they do these procedures to someone who's dying. So the whole game is you're playing as a scientist and you're doing this procedure to a man who wishes he had gone to the moon. And the point is that you're going through his memories and you're shifting through his memories, learning about his history, and you're collecting all these specific items in a puzzle type of story way in order for you to collect his memories and kind of fix them and manipulate them in a way to make him think in the end that he's made it to the moon. This old man's story is like the saddest shit. And like when I played this and I beat this game, like that shit made me cry for real. Amazing game. I would tell anybody to do it as long as you don't mind. There's no action, there's no crazy gameplay. It's super fucking simple 8-bit game, but like I would recommend that one. The second one I would recommend is a lot of people don't probably would know about it, but probably haven't played it. It's called Superliminal. And Superliminal is a puzzle game, a lot like
That's
kind of
pretty
like
recent, isn't it?
it's fairly recent, probably about maybe 2-3 years old.
You can, like,
It's a
ice
first
shit up,
it's
whatever.
it's a first person game, puzzle game, but kind of like in vein of like Stanley Parable ish, Portal
Definitely.
ish, kind of like that in that type of sense. So the whole point is that you're just some random person, don't know who you are, don't know what you are, but you have like a narrator kind of observing you and watching you, and you're going through these rooms and solving puzzles to get to the next room. So the whole point, though, is that you're grabbing an item that's in the room and you can manipulate its point of view. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, all depending on how close you are looking at the item or how far you're looking at the item. So it all adjusts. Like the size of the items adjust to where your perspective is in order to proceed through. And it's a typical game. Like it didn't really hold much when it comes to like emotional stuff until the end. And until the end of that game, when I beat the game and you get through it, the narrator kind of like starts talking to you and saying, how did you expect to get through this game? You got this game through perspective, didn't you? You have to understand that perspective is everything when it comes to how you get through life, how to get through your emotions, how to get through your problems. Perspective is everything, how you look at things. And when he started talking about that stuff, like I had this flood of just memories and just everything I've ever been through in my life and the things I'm going through now and all this stuff. And it's just like it's very, very true that it's all about perspective. It's all about how you look at things. So I really took that to heart, and that really like hit me hard. It was just like, especially with someone who deals with depression and anxiety and a lot of other issues and stuff like that, a lot of problems with family, a lot of things like that. Like perspective is everything, and I was just like, fuck. Like a simple ass game like this just hit me with some knowledge I did not expect at all, and it was just amazing in the end.
Man got hit with it.
Yeah.
Unblockable. Couldn't deal with it.
But then an honorable mention, we talked about it last episode as well. Just like a sad kind of beginning and end overall was Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Randy had mentioned that was a fucking sad type of thing in the end. But I think Superliminal and To the Moon were like just like number one for me.
Can I
To the Moon for sure. That one was really fucked up.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of Omari?
Mm-mm.
Oh, Omori?
Yeah. So Randy, you know about this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is not. Come on, papas. Go ahead, go to your spot. Sorry. So chilling. The dog doing? You chilling? All right. Thank you.
We're
So,
live.
Yeah.
Stop flirting with your dog.
Yeah. No. Sorry, because he
Look
started
on his
crying.
mic, so.
Yeah. So the game is basically about and I would say for most part I've only watched the gameplay because I only watch people play like certain games when it comes to the emotions because I can't be playing a game and crying. It doesn't work out well. But like some of the like the status effects of the game, it's crazy. Like depression, anger. Like I was like, these are emotions I can deal with. But it's just how they work in the game. It's just like it baffles me. And understanding like why the main character is the way they are, it just hit me in the feels. I was like, because I sometimes you feel like a blank slate, an empty blank, like a blank slate, and you're watching this character like build themselves and understand who they actually are, and it's crazy. It's kind of like put yourself in that situation kind of thing. But that's not a game that is for everyone. But I do recommend trying it. It changes your life or it changes your perspective on life.
Okay. Yeah. Well, any other final thoughts before we move on to gaming beatdown?
Yeah.
Watch Viva. You'll cry.
People, I wrote that shit down. I'm gonna
You'll
check
be
that out for
hated.
sure.
Watch Silent Voice. You're not gonna cry.
And Silent
You
Voice, I
won't
wrote
be
that down.
Yeah.
Give me more
Y'all
shit to
wanna
watch.
read some shit that's really fucked up?
Yeah.
Oh
well, go
no.
ahead.
There's a manga that's called A Girl on the Shore. That one's like a coming to age kind of thing where it takes place over I'd say 3, maybe 5 years or so. But it is so fucking depressing.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's weird because the author, he wanted to tackle something very uncomfortable, which is just like sexuality within just like preteens and shit, because it's a very awkward age for people to like find out who they are, what they want, or whatever the case is. And it deals a lot with loss. Like that's one of the biggest points of it, because the protagonist, he actually deals with the suicide of his brother, and he goes about it a very interesting way. It's very bittersweet, but god fucking damn does it hurt to read. I went through it all in one fucking night, and like there was 3 parts that I cried at, but it's really good because it definitely it's comforting.
Mm. Okay.
So yeah,
Man, we should do
there
a
you go. Now
fucking
you have a game, you have a movie, and you have
yeah, animes. We
a
got
fucking
movies.
manga
You got
to read.
mangas. You got plenty of options now.
Yeah.
Read
All right.
do all of them at once. We'll see you tomorrow.
Jeez.
Or maybe we won't.
Or maybe we
because
won't.
It's
No.
a lot.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go down to gaming beatdown right now, where we pit against 2 characters from video games against each other and debate about who wins and stuff. We'll do 3 today. Right now, the theme is monsters, creatures from video games. So we're gonna pit them together. And the first one was Danny's idea from last episode. We're gonna do Parasite Eve versus Metroid, like the little Metroid monsters and stuff like that. So Danny, since this was yours, you want to start off?
He wasn't paying attention.
No, I am, but I can't fucking for the life of me right now remember who the fucking what the
Parasite Eve is.
Eve-
That's
I
funny.
remember now.
You brought it up and you can't remember.
I
Like,
know.
yeah, okay.
Right now, like that. All right, I definitely think the parasites from Parasite Eve can outrate the parasites from Metroid because I don't remember when the parasites control the fucking Metroid, they just become like mindless zombies, right?
The Metroids,
Yeah.
they don't become anything. They pretty much just suck your life force.
That's what I'm saying. They don't. Okay, don't. I thought they attach to you though. Oh,
I
right,
think
they
you're
just
thinking of
suck
the
your life.
Parasite. That's Parasite X.
Yeah, I was thinking the Parasite X. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're even worse. They don't. They just suck your life force and then just float around. Not really. Just they touch you, you get hurt. Where I think the parasites from Parasite Eve, when they get into you, they give you like that mitochondria type fucking shit.
Yeah. And they
And
transform you into shit and
transform
all
you,
gross
and
and
then
nasty.
I think it could create a bigger army. So I definitely say Parasite Eve in
Well,
this aspect.
I don't know. I don't know what I've decided yet, but I just to keep the debate going. Keep in mind, like Metroid actually fucked up Mother Brain in one of the games. Like there was a Metroid that lashed on a Mother Brain and fucked it up just before. Like it sucked up the energy, and then it gave the power to Samus, and then Samus ended up having like this hyper beam or whatever shit it was, and it allowed her to destroy the Mother Brain. So like I don't know, Metroids can be pretty powerful. I
Yeah,
don't.
but
Yeah.
you get telekinesis. And you fucking just burn shit. You'd be like burn, dead.
Yeah.
All types of powers like that you would get. And then again, it can have an army of them versus 1 or 2 Metros that might be kind of strong.
Kevin, what about you?
Hmm?
Kevin, yeah. What you
I don't
thinking?
know,
You
though.
thinking anything at all?
Nah, but the hamster stopped. He went to go drink water. I was good. I don't know
I think
anything
it's
about
whatever.
Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Parasite Eve, but if the Metroid is able to suck life force, isn't a parasite a living thing? So
Well, that's what Metroid and Parasite Eve is. Like Parasite Eve is a person, is a thing, but she's able to control like your mitochondria. I don't know if you guys have played the Parasite Eve games, but
bro,
like
you spitting and I don't understand.
Yeah.
Isn't that like what gives you the Force in Star Wars?
Yeah.
the midichlorians, in a sense, yeah.
You
In a sense,
you are
yeah.
not you are not going to move your body the way
So
you
like
want.
the midichlorians are like these celled organisms in your body that can collect like some sort of force in them, and that's what gives its host the force. So like with Parasite Eve in the games, we by the way, like in real life, we all have mitochondria in us, and mitochondria is like the cells in our bodies that kind of create all the energy to keep us going. So like in
It's
the
what
game,
moves the force.
or the midichlorians, but like the mitochondria is a real thing. But so like mitochondria in the game is controlled by this one person. So whenever she is nearby, Eve, like she can either like burn you to death by like spontaneous human combustion, or she can mutate you and turn you into different things and like different monsters and stuff. And I don't know if like you're trying to say like if it's Metroid versus like the end game version of Eve, because she's pretty damn powerful. Like she has all these like like this final form, and like she destroys shit and like with
Because
beams
if we're
and
doing like like monsters like that, I think it would be the final form, not just like
yeah,
Yeah,
I would say the
disease
same.
itself. Because then that's just kind of hard to debate that between anything else. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like you can't do the T virus versus parasite. And like
Yeah, we're talking about a creature with powers versus a
yeah,
parasite that just sucks
which should be
power. That's it.
exactly which should be Parasite Eve, and then at the end, I guess it would be Mother Brain. I guess would be
Yeah,
the Metroid.
that
You know?
probably been more probably would have been more appropriate. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I just think
Okay,
eliminate
so
Parasite
we got Parasite Eve. So I'm gonna write that down as the winner.
wait, did
And
Randy vote?
Who cares?
we got
Majority
three
rules.
majority rules. And the thing is, like, I'm pretty like Randy. Be honest, like, yeah, Parasite Eve,
and
right?
Metroid,
Right.
I'm not voting Metroid.
but the brain
I'm
is
not-
such a
I'm not doing
lame
that.
fucking ball. Even at the game, like you just shoot it, and then it kind of does something to you, maybe, and you dodge it a little bit, but then you just shoot it. It's just
Well,
super
no, there's two forms to Mother Brain.
yes,
There's
it's just the bionic
yeah,
fucking mother, whatever.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
but
But
still,
yeah,
and there's
still.
and then that's just a glorified T-Rex. So
Yeah.
Just shoot the spot; it'll die.
She can't reach you with his T-Rex arms.
exactly.
All right.
Its brain is open. Just push it with your finger, it dies.
So I got another one. Somebody had mentioned Ganon. I think that was Kevin. But you didn't put who would he go against. So I had to think of something, and this is a random thought. Ganon versus Genova.
Nova.
So these are both very iconic, creatures, like characters in like two big franchises. Genova, Kevin, you got a confused face. You know who Genova is, right?
No,
He doesn't. He never
What?
played Final Fantasy VII.
Seven?
I've never played any Final Fantasy before 10.
You, sir, are fired.
I
I've
told him
definitely
last time he told me this. I'm like, he had one
Oh,
job.
man.
One job was to
So-
play Final Fantasy on his phone. You don't have to. It's
Yeah, they have it on every platform known to man.
You think I buy Final
You
Fantasy?
can play
on
that
every-
shit on your Nokia.
Bro, I'm about to play 8 on my Nokia.
they literally have it on the Switch. I almost got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah, listen, I've never played
Okay.
anything before.
All right.
that.
So Genova is
Uh-huh.
is a creature from space who crash landed on their planet, and kind of like can't. Oh, damn it, Danny, you want to explain this?
Go ahead, Dan, spin it.
It was a. The actual Genova was fuck. It gets into the live stream and then it goes into the. It became the heart of I guess the planet,
Mm-hmm.
and it grew and to become like the blood of the planet and creating all magic and all that
Yeah,
bullshit.
it's a really bad parasite that kind of like wants to destroy things.
Okay, so
No, it doesn't want to destroy things. Actually,
It does.
actually-
It moves from planet to planet.
Yes, it moved to planet trying to destroy it, but what Sephiroth was using it and was actually controlling.
Well,
Genova.
Sephiroth had his own agenda compared to like
Yeah, that's
Genova.
what I'm saying. It wasn't actually Genova's doing anything. Genova
Right.
was actually being controlled by Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Find that out later.
yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, all right. So yeah, Kevin.
So
go
then,
ahead.
but then I'll have to be Calamity Ganon then.
Yeah, we could do Calamity. That's probably. Would you think that's the most powerfulest one? Calamity Ganon?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, what? Fucking Pig Ganon, he ain't shit.
Yeah.
And this man was alive for 100 years doing nothing. He
Yeah.
was just in a castle as a ghost. I don't know Genova enough because again I haven't played Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Prior to that, but what is Genova's ability? You know what I mean? Like I don't.
So the thing is with Genova is that she doesn't do much outside of the game until towards the end. Because the thing is that there was a science lab that injected the Nova cells into a lot of different people to experiment on them, kind of like making a super soldier serum in a sense. And Sephiroth was kind of the only one that kind of survived it, which is why he went insane, because he kind of found out that like he's part of this Genova project, and there are a lot of other people who just went sick and crazy and died, and et cetera, et cetera. So like Genova doesn't really do much of anything aside from a couple of simple boss battles, throughout the game. because Sephiroth, he kind of steals the body, chops it up into pieces, kind of throws it at you every now and then, and like those pieces are what you fight. And they have just typical different RPG powers, like just different blasts, blasts and tentacles, lots of tentacles and dark powers and shit like that. Danny, I don't know if you would agree with me. Maybe like possession type powers or like mind control type powers, I guess.
No, honestly, it was quite lame, and its biggest power is that it was a parasite that would feed on the planet itself.
Yeah.
Until the planet dies. So it ended up evolving. It ended up evolving to be part of the planet. Later on, against its own kind of objective type thing. Because the planet was different from different from any other planet, and then becoming one with the planet became where magic came from, basically, or they were able to form materia. But Genova's actually quite lame, and the only reason it's any usefulness in the game is because Sephiroth was able to control it, and he was the real power.
So it's lame.
Yeah. It's probably not the best.
It's really nothing.
Probably not the best like comparison between Ganon and Genova.
The better comparison would have been Sephiroth at the end.
But Sephiroth's not a creature, though. That's why I didn't want to add him.
But Sephiroth, but at the very end,
he becomes a final form in one instance, and that's just because he's
Sephiroth dies.
Yes.
Cloud kills Sephiroth.
Yes.
Sephiroth goes into the live stream, fuses with the live stream.
Yeah. In the end.
No, in the beginning. And after when Cloud.
Oh, you're talking about the Nibelheim incident. Yeah.
That's when Sephiroth dies. Sephiroth was no longer alive after that point. From that point, he is.
You see a projection, like he's not really him throughout the game.
That's just Genova projecting him, right? Really, and he's controlling it, but that's just Genova cells, right? So Sephiroth was always some type of crazy monster towards the end because he was able to absorb those cells and then become more and fight and do all the crazy shit. But he's completely different from the super soldier that everybody knows him as.
Yeah, I just never saw him as a creature. He's just I always thought him as like a person with powers. That's why I didn't add him.
And that's why he was the one controlling, because he was a creature that was concluding that fucking thing, needing the black materia to summon meteor. But he was the creature. So the better comparison would be those two, because they both transform somehow.
Well, I mean, let's change it right now. I mean, what do you guys think?
So I definitely think fucking Sephiroth will whip Ganon's ass. Easy.
Calamity Ganon, are you dumb?
You know why?
He's a ghost, bro. What are you fighting? You're fighting a ghost that has magic. Stop.
A giant magic
ghost that has magic that you can only use with light, which Sephiroth does not have.
You hit him with revive, and the ghost comes back to life and dies.
That's Final Fantasy rules. You have to consider both rules.
And Ganon could just literally go on him and suck all his energy, and he dies.
Whoa.
He's gonna give him the Glug 3000. All of his MP's gone, and then he's gonna one shot him because his MP's defense as well.
And then his MP because he has a sword. He has the big ass sword with him. So
he's fighting a ghost. Who is he fighting? That's what I'm saying.
He revived him. He gave him that Phoenix down already. So
the Phoenix down.
Oh, man. So, well, I don't know if you're catching that reference, Kevin, but like in Final Fantasy, rules, you can kill zombies and ghosts with revive potions and stuff.
Yeah. He can. So right there, it's done. Game over.
Right.
And he has the that's just part of his magic. Is life plus life 3.
I mean, so then I'm kind of siding with Danny a bit with Sephiroth, and not even because like he's my favorite villain, of course. I'm not trying to be biased about it, but
yeah, sure.
But the thing is, no, because here's the thing though. Calamity Ganon, okay, he's a big badass, he's a big monster. Call him a ghost, call him whatever you want. he's
How does Link beat him?
still exactly. That's what I was exactly going to say. How does this little guy, granted, like he's the hero of time or whatever it is you want to call him. He's this reincarnation that's always destined to destroy this Ganon, but he is still just a regular person with a sword and a shield.
Yeah, he's nothing
But the thing is
special
that
about him.
it's the destiny that makes him special. Because okay, you
So-
can argue that it's like no, it's literally just you're stuck in a time loop. Regardless of whatever happens, Ganon's gonna die because Link is destined to kill him, and there's no breaking.
That's
that
not
destiny in
true
any
because
single
there is
game.
a split in the timeline in the Link
Yeah.
to the Link to the Past. Not Link to
Yeah.
the Past. Is it Link to the Past? There's a split in the timeline regardless where Link dies in one and Link lives in another. So at that point the timeline split. So it is possible for Link to lose his destined, victory.
Ganon kills.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does he sacrifice himself to kill Ganon? I think it is.
No, he just dies.
Oh,
He
yeah, you're right.
loses the fight.
He loses that fight. Yeah, you're right.
So
I need Letty to show me her.
so this
her
destined
Hyrule Historia
this
shit.
destined
Yeah,
thing
they have
it-
three different. They
yeah.
have 3 different spawns: there's young Link, adult Link, dead Link. But the dead Link gets reincarnated.
a reincarnation still occurs, yes, but
Yes.
when that split happens, it's because Link had died in that timeline. So like Link, it's still possible for Link to die in any destined timeline. But so my question is that does that destiny mean that only Link can kill him, or does that mean Sephiroth can kill him as well?
I would say it's
And again, how does
because-
he actually kill him? Like, you just hit him with your sword and he dies.
The
Ghost.
Aerith stab.
hit with the Master Sword. But I mean,
No,
it's
I'm not talking about Sephiroth. I'm talking about Ganon. Like
Link, no.
when Link fights him, he just hits him with his sword and his bow and arrow, right?
I don't remember. I'd have to look through the
He uses
Historia.
his,
It's
his
in the
fishing
Historia.
pole.
It's in the Historia. You'd have to look at it.
No, I know. Like I said, I need Letty and her fucking Historia to show me what's going on with that. This fucking nerd
know.
has that.
I mean-
that's kind of my point. So like, if that's what still kills him, then Sephiroth got him all day, fucking point blank. Because
Yeah. So does Sephiroth need the Master Sword, or can he use the Masamune? Like,
yeah, he has. I mean, at that final form, he still has the Masamune in his hand.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if
Well,
it's,
it like fused with his hand type of thing.
but
so it's
isn't
still,
it
like,
isn't it
whatever.
specifically the Master Sword that can defeat Ganon? That's
I
what I'm
don't.
saying.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. So are there any arguments on if Ganon can defeat Sephiroth? Then
Yes.
how?
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 Yeah.
That's the
Because
question.
he's-
Okay.
I don't think he's literally. If
Okay.
he's not strong enough to kill a little kid, then he. You know what I mean? He's not
First of
gonna be
all,
strong enough.
Cloud is a normalized person that
Man, he's not
uses
a-
magic.
But he's
That
not a
uses
normal
magic.
person. He's
What is
not a
Link?
normal person.
He's
He's
not.
not. No,
And-
you find out later that he's a
Super
basically
soldier.
fused. Yeah, super soldier.
Yeah. I know.
A faulty super soldier at that, but became stronger. But still,
So what you're saying? What you're saying is like
he's stronger than your normal person. than your normal
okay,
man.
but what you're
He's stronger
saying
than a
is
little
it
boy.
is it is a
Oh, yeah, little boy.
guy beating up a fucking a summoning. That's it. It's a normal guy beating a summoning. There's nothing. Even if you say he's a super soldier, okay, he can run fast. He can break through
Yeah.
certain objects. It's at the end of the day, he's still human. There's no.
Yeah, and
like-
so is Link, who whooped his ass. So and
Yeah,
he's
but that's what I'm
Well,
saying.
technically, Link is a Hylian, so like.
Yeah.
so is it an elf?
I don't know. what
He's
the
still
fuck
a
that-
living,
but
regular living creature.
actually, like,
The only thing I would say is if the Master Sword is the only thing to kill Ganon, Ganon got it. But I don't think the revive light thing is gonna work. That's the only thing.
All
I
right,
can
and,
say.
and you know what? Honestly, Danny,
Oh,
like
you can say
I
it
gotta,
yourself,
this is me trying to think of both sides. You have to be honest. Now we can get Link, this little boy who can defeat Ganon, this big bad monster, but
Yeah.
you have this emo dude, Cloud, who can defeat Sephiroth. Like,
At the end of the game, he's
With the
not emo
power-
no more. He's
Yes,
happy.
he is. He's happy his friend's dead.
At the end of the
Yeah.
game, he's in love. He has a girlfriend. Yes, he had to at one point.
he's got motivation.
possibly a
do this.
third with Barrett. He had motivation. He was gonna
Oh,
see this.
jeez.
He stopped the world from fucking dying. And the
Yeah,
power that
he-
they have, I don't
Uh,
know. I got
Yeah.
Cloud all day. I got
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth all
Sephiroth.
day.
I'm
I'm gonna play.
really
That
conflicted
little
with
boy,
this one.
the little boy with a shield.
All right.
Who fucking walks around
So
cutting slimes.
we got Sephiroth for one. Kevin, so you're saying Ganon,
Yeah, I'm saying Ganon.
and Randy.
I felt like Genova and Ganon was like a fairer match, but Sephiroth definitely has it.
Why?
Genova's just so.
Why?
What do you
Genova's
mean
not
why?
there.
Have you seen his entire fucking skill set? Like,
Well, no, I'm asking just for the sake of the argument.
oh well, have you seen his fucking skill set?
That's why.
Okay.
Sephiroth is he's kind of fucking busted. Even in Advent Children, fucking what's his face transforms into Sephiroth. Like, hello?
Yeah.
So I am the tiebreaker, and I can't really
Go ahead.
decide.
No, you're gonna
Go
say
ahead, go
Sephiroth
ahead.
because that's your
Go ahead,
baby
say
daddy.
Sephiroth.
That
and
is
you
my
wanna-
baby daddy, but
You want to milk him dry.
but the
You know
thing
a
is
little boy-
Ganon
a
is a
little boy
very
is not-
Ganon's a very powerful creature. He's been a wizard. He's been a demon. He's been a lot of things.
He's been a pig too.
He's been a pig. Like so, it's I don't know. It's
But Sephiroth is the embodiment of the main power source of the entire world.
Which is
Mhm.
kind of a cop out in
That
my
final-
opinion.
that
But I mean,
final- Yes, that final form is cop out. So, like, you got this the
Okay.
embodiment of the entire.
You know
planet
what?
versus-
You know why I'm gonna say Sephiroth in the end?
because
have
you
to say
love
Seph-
him,
No, no, no,
and
no.
you want to give him a
No,
big
No,
ol'
no, no.
smooch.
Because he destroys the fucking galaxy with one move on his final form.
Yeah, yeah. Which I don't understand how.
He
everybody's
literally
lying about that, but
throws a
that's it.
meteor at them in the planet, and it goes through other planets, destroying them on the path to Earth, and then destroys them or hits them. Like,
But
All
do
right,
they
what's your
die?
point?
yeah,
Do they die?
I mean,
like
he's able-
Sephiroth
he
was
has-
like OP, like just killed everything. So yeah, I'm gonna say Sephiroth just because of that one move alone.
Just because you
Every
love
time we,
him.
because
And I-
every
and I
time we
love
play
him.
Smash, I'm going to pick Sephiroth and I'm going to down smash everyone.
Danny,
I'll pick
this is Danny all day. The whole time, just snapping. That's all he
Move,
does.
man. I love doing that, but it's fucking the range on it is so they need to increase that range.
No, they don't.
No, the fuck they
No,
don't.
they don't. No, they don't.
Keep that shit the way it is.
And they need
Shorten
to
it.
they need to shave off a couple inches of that sword too.
Nah,
Whoa,
keep it
whoa, 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 whoa! Hey, hey,
Well,
hey!
he hit
We don't,
me
we don't talk
strong.
about Sephiroth and his inches.
Yeah, exactly. He gives you a tip all day.
No.
Uh-huh.
The tip is more than enough from
The
Sephiroth.
tip,
all right.
breaks more than guards.
All right, final one.
Fucking services out here.
Final one for today. We have the Lickers from Resident Evil and Xenomorphs. And yes, they are a movie franchise, but they have video games too. So Xenomorphs.
Xenomorph.
The aliens, xenomorphs, right?
Xenomorph.
Yes,
Yeah.
aliens.
No, the xenomorphs.
Not
No,
the
he's good.
Xenobites from Hellraiser.
Xenobites.
The xenomorphs, hands down.
Xenomorphs? Why?
Yeah.
Because even if you kill one, it fucking bursts into its acid is gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Its ass is gonna kill you.
It's acid.
Acid.
Right in the semicircuit.
It's just acid alone, like it's you barely. I mean, it can, and it can. The lickers, I mean, the xenomorphs can put a baby xenomorph into any race.
Yeah.
That's actually what
The
they
face
were-
huggers?
That's what they
Yeah.
were- the face huggers. That's what they're known for. So at the end of the day, they're a parasite in their own. I mean,
So,
that's
all
what-
right. So, Parasite Eve or Xenomorphs?
Well, no, we're not getting to that yet.
No, I know.
That's
I'll
what
talk
they're
about it.
on.
All right. I mean, I would
have a question.
go ahead.
So I was gonna pick Xenomorph regardless, but are we including the movie tie-ins, like, or just the game?
Just the games.
Just the game. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
no! So then fucking lickers because
Yeah.
the Xenomorphs in
What?
the games are fucking garbage.
But the thing is
Well,
that
only strong
Xenomorphs
ones-
still have those same powers, though. They still have acid
Yeah.
blood. They still sneak around. They're still strong. They can still latch on to you.
Yeah, but we're also talking about the fucking Xenomorphs from like AVP, which fucking sucked ass. But if we're talking about like technical limitations, then ugh.
But they still have the same powers, though. They still have the
Yeah,
same
but also
things.
running at 15 frames a fucking second.
Oh,
So
we're not talking about
Bro,
game
some-
limitations.
Sometimes
No, I know,
we,
I
we
know.
get the AI gets fucked up, bro. It's all right. They don't.
it's like, damn, you moving kind of funny, dude.
Yeah, bro. I'm trying to
Um,
find out if I'm going left or right.
But if we're gonna talk about game limitations, what if there's lag and then it just teleports behind the liquor?
Oh, so now they're online?
Because of the exactly.
Now they're online
Yeah.
without the
So
PS2 adapter?
so they're blipping to all these different spots. How is the liquor gonna get them?
Well, that's unfair.
Wait, can I ask a question? Is the liquor like loading in a cutscene because every time?
Well, Resident Evil isn't
Good morning.
online though.
Yeah, it was with fucking RE6 and shit.
Yeah.
5.
keep that
Hello?
shit
Forgot
away
about
from
that.
me.
We need that like fucking jank ass.
Wait, are there liquors in 5?
No.
No. Yes, they are.
Are there?
I
Yes,
don't remember them in 5.
yes, they are. They look like look them up. They're fucking
All
annoying.
right. Well, all right. Well, I'm still saying xenomorphs. They have a lot more on their arsenal and a lot more
I
more
definitely think-
feral.
Man's is out here licking me. Get out of here.
And
I got
again,
acid blood.
even in the games, they still have the fucking what you call it, the face huggers, and at the end, the face huggers is going to destroy them because they're going to be able to keep evolving. They're going to be able to keep growing, even if you have one left, because it's not going to be just one. I'm guessing we're not doing like a bunch of xenomorph or just a bunch of liquors
Just one-on-one.
type of thing. Even if it's one-on-one, it's just the one could be able to lay an egg and fucking put that shit into fucking. It's gonna be able to populate itself, and the liquor won't be able to populate itself.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just one. So
Yeah, and
that right there is gonna be like, okay, I killed. Oh no, there's the 3 more behind me. Fuck.
Yeah, and the problem that I have with the liquor is that the only thing that it has is its tongue and its claws and like its jumping
And-
ability.
And again,
Which-
as soon as it tries to, as soon as it scratches,
Yeah,
the
it's gonna start
xenomorph
bleeding all over.
it's gonna
gonna
bleed
bleed
all
all
over the place, and that's it. Game over. Those
Yeah.
things easily die.
And the only benefit that the liquor has, I would say, to the xenomorph is its excessive, like insane fucking hearing ability, which I don't know if it's gonna be enough to deal with, like the acid, the extreme speed, it's pretty much a liquor without the fucking without the tongue, and it has a little, the little teeth. That's about it. But
Yeah.
it will have to get range. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah, the xenomorph loses on range, but I mean, like, if we're talking about durability, then maybe.
Yeah.
This is kind of tough because it's like they're both annoying in their own fucking rights.
Yeah.
The only reason I remember liquor is he's having a mod in Left 4 Dead. I mean, the xenomorph.
Oh,
The
really?
motherfucker's jumping on you. Yeah, it's
Oh
terrible.
yeah, the
It's straight
hunter
black.
is a thing.
Mm.
It's straight darkness jumping on you. You're just confused.
All right. Well, I mean, we still got Xenomorph 3-1, so I'm writing down Xenomorph. So we have 4 more matches to go for the next episode. We'll do that next time. Right now, for the following week after that, we're gonna have Jigglypuff versus. Now that I'm even looking at it, it's funny. We're gonna
How
have
is Jigglypuff a monster?
we're
It's a pocket monster.
Pokemon.
We discussed this
Pocket
before.
Monster, yeah. So Jigglypuff versus Godzilla. We got Bowser
Easy.
versus Parasite Eve. This is 2 weeks from now. And we got Sephiroth versus the Xenomorph. So those are the winners for this week. But we got more coming on. I'm not going to mention them now because it's part of the surprise when we start talking about them. So that is it for today. We're going to end the show now. We're running on over 2 hours. So don't forget, guys, that you can check out the podcast on all audio podcast apps and on YouTube. Just go to thedrunkenguardian.com for all the links, as well as any game reviews that you want to check out. I do game reviews for the Coalition if you want to do that. And we also have another fellow streamer, Boneless Bones.
What's going on, guys? Bones back at it again with another stream with these beautiful people. And I haven't streamed in a while. I'm most likely going to stream tomorrow. I don't know if I am. And I also have a YouTube. Same name, no underscore TV. And I'd like to see you guys over there. Later, guys. Bye-bye.
Cool. And that's it. So we'll see you guys next week. And also keep an eye out for the Health Potion, which is a segment that we do for mental health and gaming community stuff. So we will talk about just random health, mental health stuff, and as long as it's associated with gaming and the gaming community and things like that. So we record an episode after every TDG Gaming Podcast episode. So we're going to do that now, and that is only audio. So check that out. Again, check out the links on thedrunkenguardian.com. And we'll see you guys next week.